Gentle friends, we're going to be doing an arena draft run with my previously drafted almost mono green deck, which happens to contain some very tasty cards. Let's run through what this deck is made out of. It's a good selection of cards from the very cheap to the pretty expensive, and we weren't quite able to stick entirely in mono green because we had something a little too tempting to bring to the table. Let's have a quick run through of what is out here. We've got Edgewall Innkeeper. Of course, it's a classic and the reason why we're running a bunch of adventure cards in this deck. I suspect we probably won't draw it a huge amount of the time, but the times that we do, we're going to do a hell of a lot better than we would do otherwise. Great removal bait. I think we've got about 4 or 5 different adventures which we chucked in as well. So we got 1 at 2, we got 1 at 3, we've got 1 at 4, and 1 at 6. So it's okay. It's not the end of the world if it gets, but I suspect it's at least going to end up replacing itself, possibly attracting some removal, which is probably going to end up being its main use. So yeah, we've got like a little adventure engine going on there. I suspect it will draw maybe 1 or 2 cards. We've also got the Gilded Goose, which I was very, very happy to get from a pack because it works very well for my actual collection. This guy is going to be able to poop out a food when it comes into play and allow us to accelerate our game forward, even letting us bring in some of our 3 drops a turn early. So very, very nice. Our secret weapon in this deck is the Ginger Brute, this foaming at the mouth gingerbread person. It's hopefully going to be able to get in and provide some early aggression for us, as well as be a kind of a place to deposit any of our extra buffs, extra plus effects, of which we got a couple of in the deck, if nothing else happens. And, you know, who doesn't love Ginger Brutes, really? They create a timer for your opponent to say, hey, you're gonna be dead around this time. So, that's our 1-drop. So we got 4 1-drops, which I think is pretty decent for a deck that's kind of probably looking more towards building big creatures. We've got Curious Pair, which is a pretty adventure card, but it's mainly there because of our Innkeeper. I mean, it's okay. 2 mana for a 1/3. We can always create a food token on the first turn and then bung it out on the second turn and not feel super bad about the whole thing. Ideally, we want to be drawing a card and replacing it with the Innkeeper, but I'm not gonna be... Ugh. CJ, you haven't kept up with Magic the Gathering. You didn't expect the Gingerbread Man. Oh, then you have been missing out. Let me just find the Eldraine trailer, because that's all about gingerbread people. It's not quite as good as the other trailers they've had, but it's pretty fun. There you go. So what else we got? We've got Insatiable Appetite. We've got a bunch of ways of creating food in this deck, so we can take this giant growth and make it all the bigger if we sacrifice the food to it. I don't know how often we're going to actually be doing this kind of thing, because food by itself is kind of worthwhile just for the extra life, but it's nice to have the option there. A slightly more expensive giant growth I think is alright. Also, we can bang it on there. Hello Black Zone, I hope you're doing well. If any of you guys are not au fait with Magic the Gathering, then do ask and I'll do more of a job. CJ, the Gingerbread Man trailer is tagged for blood and gore. It does get fairly violent for a Gingerbread Man themed trailer, so be warned. You may be scarred forever and possibly longer. Yeah, so Insatiable Appetite, it's there. It's nice to be able to bang onto a few of our creatures. I mean, we've got, we're going to hopefully have some early creatures out for our 4 1-drops, and we can make it pretty damn big. We can make a Gilded Goose into a 5/7. So, We've got Kendrith's Transformation, which lets us turn something into a 3/3 elk. I mean, this is probably alright. I don't know necessarily if we'd be using this on any of our own creatures at any point, but the fact it draws a card, it's okay, and if need be, we can always get rid of one of their big creatures with it. So, yeah, it's alright. Making them into a 3/3 is very similar to what Oko, a very powerful Planeswalker, can do for you. So having this effect for free, and pretty cheap as well, is quite nice, especially since you know, we don't have a lot of removal in the deck. Speaking of removal, we have, whoops, Return to Nature. A green instant that'll let us get rid of enchantments, artifacts, or potentially take a card out of the graveyard. Don't probably expect it to be doing that last part very often. But it's some good flexibility there. I've been getting my ass kicked by people just banging as many enchantments as they can onto a creature, and then I just can't do anything about it, so this is in there for that reason. I've had it work very well on me, so yeah. Alright, now we go to the 3-drops. So, Rose Thorn Acolyte. This one lets us do a little bit of mana conversion to start off with by taking one of our green mana and making it into any colour. This will be important for our one off-colour card in the deck, which we'll be getting to in a second. Once it's played out for its regular effect, we're going to be then able to also generate mana and accelerate our late game, which is going to be pretty nice. So we've gone from hopefully a fairly strong early game, and then we're going to start banging you through the mid-game and trying to get to late. We've got Spore Cap Spider. This 1/5 is going to be able to block pretty much anything up in the air. Very nicely statted for a blocking creature. It's not going to kill them, but it's certainly going to get in the way of whatever their most annoying creature is. Now let's get to the thing which we have splashed mana for. Grum Gully the Generous. This charming fellow with the smile that would sink 1,000 ships will let us take all of the early game stuff, which we draw late game, and make it not rubbish. So, I think yes, that's going to work for Ginger Brutes, that's going to work for any of this stuff. There's not actually a lot of the early stuff which we can play outside of 1-drops, but it's going to buff up our 1-drops and it'll make our bigger creatures just that little bit bigger. Henge Walker. We're playing quite a lot of forests and a few ways to make more mana as well, so hopefully we're going to be able to CJ, yes, you've been traumatized. Right, what else we got? So yeah, Henge Walker, if we've got 3 green mana, we can make a 3/2, which is pretty nice. We've got a couple of them. I'm a little sad we don't have a mono green deck to make sure we definitely get this as a 3/3, but it's not the end of the world. It's just a, something to get in the way. Heraldric Banner? Heraldric? This is a mana generator that's going to buff up all of our green creatures, which is again not too shabby. It won't work for Ginger Brute, but for everyone else it's going to make them just a little bit stronger, which is alright. On to the 4-drops. So Heraldric Banner and Rose Thorn Acolyte are both going to accelerate us, hopefully, to 4 and 5 drops. Well, 5 drops and above a little bit sooner. So our Carver is another giant growth effect, so we've got 3 of those in the deck. But this one will also poop us out a 3/2. Hello! I have no idea what that person's name is because it's all in Japanese. Let me do a quick Google Translate and see what it comes up with. Whoop. Japanese? Yamaru Game Live. Hey, well, Yamaru, welcome to the stream. So what else we got? So our biggest prize from this draft is Questing Beast. This 4/4/4 cost green creature is absolutely monstrous. Vigilance, Death Touch, Haste can't be blocked by creatures 2 power or less. Can also nail out Planeswalkers, which I'm sure we'll see more than a few of. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. We're hoping to get this guy out as early and often as possible. And even if they do die, why, we've got 2 of this Once and Future card, which will let us get back any 2 of our cards from our graveyard back to our hand, assuming that we can pay 3 green mana for it, which shouldn't be a problem. So yes, hopefully this is effectively going to give us 3 Questing Beasts, given enough time, which should mean we'll win pretty much any game, because even if something's bigger than Questing Beasts, it's still going to kill it. Ah, you're an MC5 player. Yumaru Game Live. Well, do let me know if you're not familiar with Magic the Gathering. I'll try and explain what I'm doing as I'm going. We've got Tall as a Beanstalk, an aura which is going to be able to pump up again our cheaper creatures. Of course, we've got basically 1 drops and 3 drops as far as creatures goes. Make them a bit bigger, give them reach, and also make them giants. That's not going to matter for our deck. There is a thing that kills everything that isn't a giant, so this might become relevant. And our late game, Garenbrig Paladin. This guy, if you spend 3 green mana, is going to be a 5/5 rather than a 4/4, and can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. So, a good heavy hitter. And the Toon Veil Tree Folk that either works as a rather overpriced put +1/+1 counters on our creatures, but will eventually turn to a 6/5 for us as well, which is pretty nice. And of course, generic Prophet of the Peak, a 6 mana scry 2/5/5, pretty decent. So we're sealing outing at about 5 power from our creatures, but we've got a whole bunch of extra ways to make them a little bit stronger, including Grungully, good gosh. Yeah, we got some really good cards from this draft, so I'm hoping this will be good. I've had a word with peers to try and figure out what the right number of red lands are to make sure that Grungully can come down on turn 3. 6 seems to be about right, and we've got a few extra ways. Piers, yes, that's me! Piers, do you know CJ already? Is CJ from your stream? I can't remember. I can never remember where I know everyone from anymore. Yeah, we got a few extra ways to make the mana. Rose Thorn can make any mana of any colour, so we should be pretty good. I would be surprised if we run into mana problems, especially because Gilded Goose can poop out food, which can then turn into mana of any colour, so we're pretty set as far as that goes. Let's go and give it a go. I really hope this one does well, because I've been having terrible luck with the draft so far. Well, let me rephrase. I've had amazing luck with the actual cards I've been drafting, but when it comes to actually playing those cards, I've gotten absolutely smashed, and I think I've barely won any games at all. So this time round, the cards are amazing, the deck seems like it's pretty good, and hey, there we go. This is not the world's best hand. We're a little flooded with mana, but we could get a Gingerbrute out and a Gilded Goose and start making food tokens. I think I can live with it. It's not great. We've got a 1 mountain that we're ever going to need. Yeah, it's just about keepable. I'm not a huge fan, but I think as long as our opponent doesn't play anything, I'll chuck out the Gingerbrute and start slapping. I'm kind of tempted to throw down the Gilded Goose and just start making food. Turn number 2. But I know Gingerbrute's going to be a lot more noticeable if it comes down in the first turn, even if it's a little mana inefficient, because we're going to end up chucking out the goose. Oh, hello. Someone's converting their green to something else. What's that going to be then? Wait, they made the green into a green? I don't know. Yeah, Piers, right, you're on the same page as I am. It does feel awkward to be sort of wasting a mana in turn 2, but yeah, because Gingerbrute's going to come out and hopefully be unstoppable. What? Am I missing? What? 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 I don't understand what's going on. Alright. If in doubt, smack them in the face with a gingerbread. Yeah, I don't know. Rose Thorn Acolyte, they spent 2 mana to just do nothing apart from remove the cards from their hand. So hey. Alright, so there we go. Lucky Clover, that would have worked well. That would have doubled up on their mana. Alright, well, whatevs. Let's just hit him in the face again, and I guess we'll do that for a while. Bish bosh. I guess theoretically we could spend food to hit them harder, but... CJ... Cute dog. Wait, where's the dog? Which dog are you talking about, CJ? Oh wait, over here. Ah, that's right. That's the fox you get if you're willing to spend a bunch of money, well, gems, to get the season pass. Season pass? You know what I mean. Are foxes dogs or cats? That's the question on everyone's lips. Alright, so we're a little short of being able to make Garenbrug Paladin. So what we could do is we could spend 1 mana to make this guy unblockable and spend another couple of mana to make a food token. And then just... Oh, so CJ, before we were having this big discussion of whether or not foxes were dogs or cats, being as they have the body of a cat but the head of a dog. And therefore, I think on average... we could have taken out their mana source, yeah. But I don't know. I'm kind of okay with not. I want to get a little bit more food out. Alright, so we're going to be looking at something pretty enormous. So, okay, yes, they're basically playing a Lucky Clover deck. Alright, so that's... Okay, maybe this is what they were going for before, I don't know. Well, at least our Garen Brig Paladin's going to be big enough to just clonk whatever they bring out. What? Why didn't they hit us? Alright, well... Oh, oh, that's right. Yeah, that's why they didn't do that. Alright. So we've got a 5-5. We've got a food to be able to fuel our insatiable appetite. So I think we're in a pretty good spot. Because, yeah, they're going to spend all of their mana to get out the Beanstalk Giant, and then we're going to kill it straight away. What's not to like, honestly? What's not to like? Alright, let's get that done. So we've got the mana to be able to make this guy unblockable. Let's get smashing in it. Phew. For a second I thought we were going to run into trouble with the Insatiable Appetite costing too much, but we're not even going to bother to sacrifice the food for it. They've got no mana whatsoever, so we don't even need to. Bish bosh, goodbye Beanstalk Giant, you were rubbish the whole time. We've got the Kenrisk transformation if they come out with a second giant or something similar. So yeah, I think we're in a pretty good spot. It would be nice if the transformation made them a 2-2 so the Paladin couldn't be blocked by them, but I think that might be asking it just a little bit much. But still, I think we're in a pretty good spot. We're a little bit out of juice. Ooh. Alright, yeah, the Lucky Clover's gonna make some... Hey. It's good news that our creature is bigger than their creatures. It's kind of weird that they would spend the mana just to get out a Spore Cap Spider when they don't even need it right now. And it does not even... And make sure not to Kenrith the Elves. Hey, Hero Gaming Simon. Yes, so this is something to watch out for. In the Eldraine set, there's a lot of stuff that gets bigger based off 1/1 encounters. And those 1/1 counters won't go away if we turn it into a 3/3. In fact, would make it bigger. So we're not going to do that. Hero Gaming Simon, I hope you're doing well. We're about to get smacked in the face by an overgrown elf. And I tells ya, I ain't too happy about it. Fortunately, the Gilded Goose is going to keep on providing us with food, making the fact they're attacking us kind of irrelevant. Hero Gaming, oh, thanks for dropping by. Especially if you're busy. Well, I'd like for you to hang around. I appreciate you taking the time. Yeah, Hero Gaming Simon. Hope you have a lovely evening, morning, night, day, wherever you might happen to be at the moment. I assume you're still in America, so I guess it's probably around mid-afternoon. Yeah, Hero Gaming Simon, have a good one. Right, so they're probably going to hit us in the face. I don't know why they haven't hit us in the face so far. They have got a 6/5 that's going to be coming down, so they're going to have some pretty big creatures. This is going to be... Oh, pants, I forgot to... Alright, I forgot to pay for the food. Alright, well, I guess I'll just do that this coming term. Fortunately, all of our stuff is bigger than all of their stuff, so... Well, I say all of our stuff. Our Paladin's big enough to make irrelevant these Roadthorn Acolytes. Great. The tree focus here, we can make it into a 3/3. I think that's alright, because I just really want to just draw some cards. Let's make sure I put in a stop at the end of the turn to make sure I don't forget about the Goose's Poopin' Food ability. There we go. This is going to effectively give us more or less unlimited life. I mean, might as well just eat the food now, because I think we're only ever really going to need one food to get on with, and I want to make use of our mana if we can. Alright, so... yeah, I think that's the right move. So let's get rid of the tree folk. And let's put out a 3/3. Pay for our Ginger Brute. This is going to be a long game where the only thing I can do is keep hitting them with a Ginger Brute. Ooh. So I don't know if at this point they're going to just start going after us and start swinging. I mean, it's not going to end very well for them because we can keep making food. So them just going out all-out aggression at this point is, I think, just going to end up with all their stuff dead and then them losing. I don't know what it is they're going to do here, unless they've got something which is going to, you know, nail us out. They've got black, so there's a potential of them just removing our Ginger Brute. We've got another one of those. We've got enough mana to enable pretty much everything in our deck. In fact, we've got more mana than we can ever really make use of. Yeah, I think Lucky Clover stuff happening is going to be the way they win. If they get something really stupid like double Murder Knight and just kill all of our creatures, I suppose, that would work. Yeah, I don't want to sacrifice the food to make a food. This into a waste of time. Well, not going to be short of mana anytime soon. Alright, Ginger Brute. The heavy lifter of the deck. The heavy hitter of the deck. Yeah, no, you're right. As soon as the Paladin goes off the board, I am going to be in trouble. So I'm going to try and get as far as I can before that happens. End of turn. So if our opponent continues to do nothing, they could go in with everything. I know, Piers, if only I had an aura that Piers persuaded me not to include in the deck on my Ginger Brute, everything would be wonderful. Alright, it looks like our opponents have lost patience. I think what we're probably looking at here is... Alright. So I'm guessing we're going to get some sort of pump spell. They've only got one card in hand, so I think I'll trade off the Hengewalker for the Elk. And if it's a +3/+3, which I think is the minimum amount it could be... I don't know. Actually, yeah, I like blocking the 2/3. That's kind of nice. I think I can probably afford to take the rest of the hits to the face, because I'm going to be able to crack back. Let's see, I'm going to take 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 damage here. But if they do use that now, then I don't have to worry about it later on. We've got effectively unlimited life with the food, so this might be a mistake, but I think it's alright. Okay. It doesn't feel great to get punched in the face like that, but that we can get all of our... Let's just get the food right now. The fact we can just go back up to almost full health again is pretty tasty. Okay, Edgewall Innkeeper is fine. That means if we draw any more of our silly adventures. So, at this point, we have actually got a question of, do we... If we're not going to block with the Paladin, I think we might as well just start hitting him with it. Because this is the turn where we can do it, and we can massively accelerate the clock. Because this guy can't be blocked, and this guy can't be blocked as well. I'm quite happy to let the Edgewall Innkeeper die at this point, if need be. To avoid us taking a ridiculously big swing in the face. I think now, this time around, I'm going to use the Hengewalker to block the tree folk, and then, you know, if they want to use their adventure at that point, I'm totally okay with that. I've got... The Gills is going to give me so much life. Okay. That will give him a lot of mana to not do anything with. Oh wait, no, there we go. The Giant's going to be coming back. Fair enough. And also 2 land. Oh, well, that turns out they didn't have it the whole time. Oh well. But hey, at least we don't have to worry about getting caught out by pump spells. Yeah, so we were looking out for the +2/+2, so they managed to fakerize us out with that. What are they doing with the... Are they gonna... What are they doing? So our deck's kind of taking a little bit of a nap. I'm wondering if we should hold on to the Innkeeper just so that if we draw an adventure spell that doesn't really do anything, that we can actually make something happen with it. Are we okay taking 13 to the face? 13? No, 11. Yeah. I think we'll hold off at least one turn to see if we can get away with this. At least we know they're not going to pump anymore. Hey, want some future? If only we had 2 cards. Well, this does mean that we don't actually have any adventure cards to be able to use. Yes, if we could get rid of the... insatiable appetite. Oh, that's right, of course, since appetite will kill them. Alright, let's get that back to our hand. So let's create a food token. Attack with everything. And then we're Gucci. Oh, that's right, you can't block with the Spore Cap Spider, you silly Billy. So we swing in with base 2, +5/+5, and... Hey, Lemieux. Thank you, Piers. I think I wouldn't have noticed that. So there we go. Our deck was a little bit wonky. Didn't really do what it was supposed to, but the fact that it got... Yes, well, Piers is, of course, over on Twitch, is the food beatdown chef. I wanted to... Baker? I don't know. I didn't want to say Meister. Hey, neat. We got something cool. We'll open that at the end. Alright, so that went alright. I can't think of anything which really needs to be changed between the deck, so let's just keep on going. So we've gone from a guaranteed 50 gems to doubling our money. Marvellous. Yes, the once and future is pretty ridiculous. So that's another way which we can get access to our Innkeeper's draw, is if we ever get an adventure card, which we didn't, like, then we're in a good spot. Alright, so we've got a decent start again. We've got our mana converter. We've got a 1-drop, 3-drop, 5-drop. It's not amazing, but it's probably alright. We are going first, so we're going to get to smack him in the face with Ginger Brute a few times. And I guess we can spend at least one of our mana. Yeah, I think we can live with this. We are a little low on green, but once the Rose Thorn Acolyte comes out, it's not going to be an issue so much. I think our opponent just mulliganed. Yeah, having the Rose Thorn Acolyte is going to let us get to these 4 and 6 drops a little bit faster. It's an okay hand. So let's misrepresent our deck by chucking down a red mana straight away. I don't think we've got any double greens, at least until 3, so that I don't think there's any situation where that could hurt us. But I think if we're running out a haste creature on the first turn and we're showing red, then I'm hoping that will make our opponent do some stuff that's maybe a little bit silly. We've got no need to convert mana, but yeah, there we go. There's our lack of 3 green to be able to guarantee the Hengewalker, but whatever. Yep, Hengewalker is going to make us feel bad. Alright, well, whatevs. What we'll do is we'll play out the Rosethorn Acolyte instead, because it's got the same stat line, but it's just better. And then we can play the Hengewalker a little later on as a Centaur, as in a generic 3-3. Alright, so we've got a few different options here, but the Spore Cap Spider's not really going to do anything for us. So let's just bang out our Adventure Boy. Lady? I don't even know. It's a little hard to tell. Okay, so that's alright. We're going up. So we've got a 4 mana. If we draw another, then we get a rather disappointing Garenbrig Paladin. But, I mean, it's alright. Because we've got the ability to get back a lot of our stuff, so playing it out as its sub-optimal form early on is not the end of the world. Is our opponent going to try and hit us? No. Alright. Okay, that's a long way to go to get 1 damage. In fact, what? I don't understand. Alright, so that stopped us from playing our 5-drop, so that's not ideal. Do we... I think I might as well just play out the Spore Cap Spider here, because... Wait, did that not untap to the end of the... Oh, so they did that effect at the beginning of our turn. I guess that does make us skip a turn of attacking, so... Sure. They also kind of skipped a turn there. Yeah, we'll bring out the Paladin next time round. Ideally, we'll get... Oh no, we have got 3 green mana, so we're going to be able to play it as a 5-5. They're going to have a flying 2-3. We don't care about that at all. We've got a Flaxen Intruder, which can destroy an artifact or enchantment. Fortunately, oh, we actually do have some pretty big artifacts or enchantments, so hopefully that won't get through. Alright. So we've got the 3 green, so let's get out our currently unblockable creature. Then we've got Insatiable Appetite to back it up next turn. Hoorah! Yes, the profit would be nice. We haven't got any attacks this time round, but we're set up pretty well for next turn. And they haven't really done anything so far. The Welcome Home is extremely expensive for what it is, but it's nice to have that option. So I'm going to watch out for the Flaxen Intruder sneaking through and taking out my Ginger Brutes, because that's something that will be quite easy to miss. They've still got their ability to play out their 2-3 flyer. Again, not able to block anything. I think it's a decent chance we turn up some land next time and we get the Prophet of the Peak. Who's going to give us the ability to peek at our deck. I'm pretty sure that's the joke they were making with Prophet of the Peak. And I'm pretty upset about it. Also, look at his eyes, the big cuddly artifact creature cat. I don't know why it's an artifact. I don't know if it's supposed to be a statue on top of a mountain. Revenge of the Ravens. That's... I'm trying to remember what Revenge of the Ravens does. Revenge of the Ravens... we've got a 2-3 does nothing? Okay. Alright. I would go for the Ginger Brew, but I want to play out the Prophet if we can. We'll hold on to the Insatiable Appetite just in case. Oh, the 3 black drain one each time you're attacked enchantment. Yeah, that sounds pretty nasty. Oh yeah, it's drain 1, gain 1. Okay. Are they going to just throw the carver in front of it? No. We're just going to get smacked in the face. Alright. Let's take a peek. We do not need more land, so successfully drew us to not lands. Yeah. That's right, yes. So guys, when you're playing a draft in Eldraine, apparently it's a bit problematic at the moment. The bots don't rate certain cards that are very powerful. And yeah, this card is generically powerful because it can go in anybody's deck and its effect is always going to be useful. So I've been listening to them talk a little bit about some of the set design for Eldraine, and apparently before there was like 6-cost blue, green, white, red, black creatures as in this kind of part of the set. Okay. What is that about? Sure. Well, goodbye, gentle prophet of the peak. Alright, so if we spend 1 red mana, we can get the Ginger Brute going. There we go, thank you game for recognising we have only green cards in our hand. And let's get to the clobbering. I guess we theoretically could... No, there's no point, is it? That's not going to accomplish anything. So what are we sitting on here? If we could get a food, then we've got the ability to pump 7 into our attack, and we could potentially kill them next turn. For now, I think I'm alright to just chuck out the Hengewalker. Bear in mind, we've got a little bit more mana than it looks like we have the Rosethorn Acolyte. So I prefer to pay for my land rather than using the creature mana. This way, it looks like we've got a little less available than we do, if our opponent forgets what the Rosethorn Acolyte does. Which I think can be quite easy to do. Our opponent really hasn't done anything this game at all, apart from make a big flyer that did nothing useful. So I think we're feeling pretty good. I mean, they weren't as... they didn't kind of shoot themselves in the foot quite as much as our first opponent, who literally wasted 2 cards. You think you should have cast both sides of the Carver? Yeah, I can see that. I think we end up in... Okay. A sort of similar position though. I mean, we've got the same stats in these guys. And I want to hold on to the instance for a big... Because, like, for now, for instance, we've got the ability to swing in with everything and then put in 7 extra damage they wouldn't expect. Though, let's see. Do we want to just go in with everything? We're just going to end up... I'm not sure we do, actually. Okay, so if we do, this is going to get blocked by that. This is going to probably get blocked by this, I suppose. These guys will trade off. This one will bounce off here, and this one will just get through anyway. They've got no mana at all, so... We've only got 5 extra power to pump in, so... I think for the time being I'm alright to put them into kill area for next time round. And burn through one of our pump spells to take out a couple of theirs. I think I'm alright with that. I think what we might get is all 3 of those blocking, in which case... What we'd end... No, we won't. Sorry, we could get these 2. Yeah, I'm alright with that. Okay. Yeah, there we go. So they've got 7, we've got 5, so we're going to need the +3 to nail out all of their creatures. I can definitely live with that. Alright, so we've taken out everything that can block the Paladin. We know their flyer can't do it, and we know this flyer can't do it as well. So one of those 3 cards has got to be something that can block it. And we know we've got the Carver to again make it bigger. Right, that's a good sign. That's not going to do anything. Apart from, I guess, block one of our things. Cool. We've got the ability to get back our stuff. Let's see, this is going to cost us 4. We've got 7. So we need to spend... The thing is, we need to spend all of our green mana. Yes, they could have a pump spell, so... I think we're not, again, in position to... What we'll do then is we'll spend 1 to make Gingerbrute unblockable. And then just go in for that same attack again. And see what that gets us. Ooh. Oh, what's a future is an instant? Okay. So we're going in for 6. 7, 8. So we can't kill them, so I guess don't bother. What are they doing here, if anything? So, alright. Well, we can't... If we use this stuff, we can't actually cast any of the stuff we could get back from the graveyard, so we might as well just do it on their turn. What are they going to do? They haven't got any flash in stuff. So, we're in a good... Oh, right, okay. What they're getting back? They're getting the Stonecoil Serpent and the Carver. Neither of which are going to do anything for them, but I suspect that what they will hopefully do is spend all of their mana on a big old snake, and that way we can just kill them. Yeah, well, I mean, at this point... Okay, that's not going to do anything for them at all. So they're left with 2 mana open. We know what 2 of their cards are. A useless pump spell and a Stonecoil Serpent. That's probably going to do nothing at all. And the combat, they're doing nothing. Alright, let's grab everything back in our graveyard. Man, that card is real nice. Outflank. I'm trying to remember what that is. I think that's you do damage based on how many creatures you have. Yeah, you have to be attacking or blocking creature equal to the number of creatures you control. Alright, good stuff. A solid second game win. Let's see how many we can draw out of this deck. So we haven't drawn, as of yet, the Questing Beast, the entire reason why I thought this deck would be good, but it's still won anyway, so I'm feeling pretty good about that so far. Piers, can you remember, how do I get that special... oh, hello. There we go. This is not a great opening hand. We've got a 3/3. Man, it's been okay so far. We haven't got a way to cast Grumgully. This doesn't do anything. This is going to be a 3/3. This is going to be doing nothing. You reckon keep it, Piers? I'm not a big fan just because of the... I'm going to mulligan. I'm going to see if I can find something better. Nope. Alright. We could transform our Henchwalker. Let's get rid of the transformation. I think it's good. Actually, no, let's... The thing is, we don't want to play the transformation early. Return to nature probably won't do anything either. Yeah, I suppose that's the one that's least likely to do anything. Okay, well, we've got a whole hand that does... Oh, thank goodness. I've never been so happy to see an angry gingerbread person in all my life. Hoorah. There's... Oh, man, a sink. Okay. A flying 2/2. I do like this card. Piers in particular is directing this towards. This seems like a kind of like, you know, for a bear that gets flying very, very easily is, you know, isn't too shabby. Okay, so I think we probably, yeah, we've got to throw out the 3/3 at this point. Attackers, their turn. So you've got the ability to goose, but we haven't got anything to get with it as of yet. Okay. We are going to take a small amount of damage. Oh no. Thank you for making it free for us. Wait! Oh wait, we can't use that yet. Never mind. We could make our Ginger Brute into a 3/3 and hit them in the face with it. Is that the right move? It doesn't feel like it is. But we could. Yeah, I kind of hate it as well, especially because of how useful it's going to be against whatever their biggest thing is. So I think we just hit them in the face instead. Fortunately, they've left themselves completely open to that. So, whatevs. I would eat the food at the end of this turn, but we want it for Grum Gully. Ooh. 3/3 that gets you... Man, this card is very nice. Artifact or enchantment. Actually, I imagine there's a decent amount of chance of that whiffing. Okay, no, didn't. Alright, Golden Egg is not the end of the world. But, wait, is this an artifact? Oh, it is. Oh, jeez. So we've got a whole bunch of stuff up in the air. Good thing we've got a flying blocker, which is not going to block. Well, we don't need to burn our food now. Yes, return would have been great in this game. What can you do, huh? Alright, so... we've effectively got 5 mana, so... let's give it a go. Oh wait, should have done it another way around, don't mind. Yeah, we can at least swing it in with our Hengewalker. Do we transform this boy? We have to burn our food for it. We're not gonna... if we make this into a 3/3, I think it's still gonna hit it anyway, isn't it? So, I think I'd maybe hold off for something a little bit more significant. Yeah. So, we actually are in the area where, because we got Once and Future, which we can hold on to for later on, we could even eat our Ginger Brute if need be. In fact, we might eat... no, it's not right to eat the Ginger Brute just to get the food back. Alright, well, we ain't gonna do anything about that. A 3/4 flying, that seems a little bit more appealing to make into a... this isn't an instant, is it? No. Into a 3/3. Alright. Goodbye. That's a little awkward. We'll look forward to losing on 1 life. So I think... I kind of feel like I want to sort of stop... this is a human that's not going to get a 1/1. I kind of feel like I want to just pump out food, but they're going to neutralize our food with our flyers every turn. The problem is, actually, yeah. I think it's alright to try and prefer a trade. There we go. I'm so okay with that. Especially because it lets us get both of those things back. We could play an Edgewall Innkeeper here, but I want to keep the green to make a food token. Also, I don't know why we didn't attack with Ginger Brew. There was no reason not to. Oh, that's right, because they would have just blocked and killed it. But I could have made it unblockable. Ugh. Ooh. Scalding Cauldron with the blue lass who gets artifacts back from the graveyard is super ridiculous. I did so well on draft just based off using that again and again, just getting limited stuff. Alright. Sure. I'm glad I didn't take out the goose, we might have been in real trouble. Okay. Sure. We need 3 greens to get that, so let's create a food token instead. Ooh, so we've got the ability to... Oh geez, we're actually in a little bit of a tight spot here, where we're down to very, very low life. I'm not sure if we can actually... Let's see, we're going to burn through 4 mana to get back Monster Future. We can make their 3/3 into a... Their 3/3 flyer and 3 into a 3/3 non-flyer and block it with Ginger Brute so we don't die. Ooh. Alright, let's just get stuff out in the way. Well, I'll sacrifice the Innkeeper because I can then eat the Brute. I'm going to do that anyway. I think I might as well attack with the Ginger Brute this time. Our decks worked relatively well, but just them having flyers from such an early point in the game has really made it very difficult for us to do things. Alright then. Okay. How much food can we eat / mess around with? Yeah. So we need to keep 2 land available to do some shenanigans there. I think something like this. So we can also use the goose to tap for land as well, so... So we can use, we can use Grim Gully to kill a 4/5, and then just hope that there's no extra shenanigans from them. And I guess we'll just hope for the best. They've got a lot in the tank. Fortunately, this is not adventurable anymore. Okay. I'm not a fan of crashing drawbridge. I think this really doesn't seem that great, but maybe it's better than it looks like it is. I think getting haste is quite nice. I think if they've got any kind of shenanigans here, we're pretty boned. Right, so we need to block everything. So let's do that. So we're going to pump this guy. We're going to lose this guy. And we're going to chump block that one. Do they have anything as their last card in hand? Can we do anything with this? I don't think so. We could generate an extra mana, I suppose. I suppose the big problem we've got here is that crashing drawbridge is going to make their flyers have haste, which is not amazing. Good old humans. Okay, auto tap didn't do us dirty there. So at least we've got a ginormous creature, even if it's not one that's necessarily going to do a huge amount for us. We've got the ability to nom some food, so that's alright. So this is going to be big enough to block any of their stuff. Ginger Brew is edible, as is our food. We can't afford the carver, but I'm completely okay with that. So if they get a flyer, or if they have a flyer in their hand, we're just going to die. But we're holding on, I suppose, pretty well so far. We actually got to get Grumgully do something and justify their gutting of our ability to get consistent green mana. Alright, there's chance number 1 to get a flyer. We've only got enough food. This would be okay if they didn't have the stupid drawbridge. Maybe they'll forget they've got it. No, they don't forget they got it. Alright. Guess I'll just... Man, it's everybody. I guess maybe it's better than I thought it was. Welp. I think our deck performed relatively well there, even though I don't think it's got the world's best matchup against big, fast flyers. But, I don't know, I quite enjoy playing the deck, so I'm okay with that as a loss. I think that was... I'm not sure how much of that was just... Yeah, I think we did as much as we could to play that out as well as possible. So I don't feel bad about that loss. Yeah, I think if we end up in that one again, we're probably right. Okay, so we've got ourselves a 1-drop food. Yeah, this is pretty alright, isn't it? We've got something that makes a food, we've got something that uses the food, we've got a 3/3. We've got a... Yeah, I like it. We've yet to hit a Innkeeper plus anything hand, but... The fact that we've got like 5 1-drops is pretty nice. Yeah, it is a good curve, isn't it? Though, yeah, that's right, we can actually play the Curious Pair as a creature as well. Not too shabby. It's not a bad thing to chuck our Insatiable Appetite onto. I think we probably hide our red... I mean, it's just force of habit, really. There's no advantage to... Actually, wait, no, we don't want to play the red because we need to play the Hengewalker. Yeah, good thing I just happened not to do that. Not for the right reason, but... Yeah. Alright, Curious Pair, you are not particularly great. So go and not particularly grate them in the face. They are what they Curious Pair are, though, is a relatively okay aura carrier because of having extra defense. 3/3. I'm pretty okay with Hengewalker. So we've got double pump for our stuff to be able to get over whatever they play at this point. I think Curious Pair is going to do a good job of... Okay. It's nice we can keep on hitting. I don't think I'm going to use up one of my pump spells to get past the Lost Legion, because I'm fully expecting there to be something more worthwhile shortly, and I'd rather kill a creature that does something. And I can use this to block the Lost Legion anyway. So I'm just going for 3. Temptation here is to... you got 7-1. Congratulations, Piers. That's a very good result in Silver, forcing Blue-Black Mill. The filthiest of all the decks. We could play the Carver out. I really don't want to, though. Without using its 2/2 effect first. I just... Yeah, I would feel super bad about that. I think there is a line of reasoning which suggests that maybe it is the right thing to do, to be just getting another creature on the board, though it's a creature that does not do well into Lost Legion. Yeah, I mean, we could just use the 2/2 effects to kill off Lost Legion, but they're not going to attack with it anyway, are they? So, alright. Looks like a removal spell's on the cards. Bish bosh, push you in the face. What they don't realise is they're facing down. Alright. Gotta love that. Artifact hate in the format. Oh well. That's a good reminder to not enhance Hengewalker, because that's just going to happen all over again. Yeah, I suppose at this point I should be attacking with a Curious Pair. Because then we're not worried about them hitting us at this point because we're ahead. Whereas I think I was still too stuck in the idea of not getting hit back. Okay, a 1/2 Scryer. I honestly don't know. Is Inquisitor Puppet any good? I mean, it's able to create a 1/1. It's a 1/1 generator. Well, not generator so much as it just... Okay, well, it does mean it can get in the way of the 3/3 pretty well. So does complicate things a bit. Yeah, probably should have gone in with the Curious Pair. So, I mean, it's going to be able to block, make itself into a 1/1, then block again. So I guess, yeah, we're going with the Curious Pair. And if they're gonna use the puppet to block it, then at least our 3/3 goes through. Yes, Piers, I came to that same conclusion. Wait, what? What? They didn't block before they did that. What? Maybe I'm missing something here. Oh, double block, okay. Yep, it's time to 2-for-1 pump spells, they're the best. Nope. Alright, well this is going to be a chance to counteract their... I don't think they've got another artifact. What? We can generate +5. We can get +7/+7 as well. Oh, do we use all of that right now? Ah, screw it. Let's give it a try. It looks like it's good for a laugh. Yeah, it is 2 for 2. We get rid of their Legion. Assuming they don't have a third card to be able to mess with us. Yep, fully prepared to get blown out. No! We've managed to trade all of our cards for some of their stuff. Yeah. I didn't expect the +7/+7. That's really nice. I love that card. That's exceptional. I've not seen anyone else using that, but... Ugh. Okay. Fortunately, they're a little light on green. So they're not going to be able to bring out the Love-Struck Beast this turn, so we've got at least... Okay. Oof. So we could trade off our 3/3 for 3 1/1s. And we know there's going to be a bigger creature coming out. It's tough, man. I think I won't. No, so I'll just get a bunch of stuff off the board. Wait. Auto Tapper. Oh wait, there wasn't enough mana to cast it. Okay. I thought Auto Tapper had done me dirty. But alright, I guess it's time to figure out... So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to set up a situation in which I'm going to have enough to, with the Spore Cap Spider, to be able to deal with the Love-Struck Beast without losing more than one card. With the intention of being Curious Pair and Spore Cap Spider will provide the last remaining 2 power required. Man, Falmar Knight's going to be so good. So good. Okay. Ginger Brew. Do your darndest. I think it's pretty... So, yeah, so the Love-Struck Beast, unless they're going to pump a lot into killing a Curious Pair and a Spore Cap Spider, I like this block quite a lot. Just because, yeah, like, you know, we've got 5... 11? And if they bother to pump the Love-Struck Beast... Okay. I'm not a big fan of the Fairy Godmother's effect. I mean, it's kind of nice to be able to just swing over for a bunch, but... I'm not sure it's mattering that much. Their pile of 1/1s has certainly been problematic. Alright. Sure. Definitely not going to get rid of our Spore Cap Spider. I think they might, when we do this 3-card block, I wonder if they might get rid of the Spore Cap just to enable their other stuff. I don't think so. Alright, so we're kind of a little bit just kind of stuck at the moment. Oh, that'll do. So we can go for a big block knowing that we can want some future everything back again. So without the Spore Cap Spider here, I'd be much more inclined to throw in... Oh, it's got haste, hasn't he? A whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, now we can get the Carver killed off. And... Is it right to be throwing in the 3/3 and the 3/2? It probably would be while the Love-Struck Beast was tapped down, because they'd almost certainly kill something with a Death Touch, or at least 3 of the 1/1s. And then we could get back Carver and something else. Ooh. Man, that is pretty heinous. An indestructible, infinite life gaining machine. less worried about that. Okay, well at least you know pretty much everything they got in their hand. Whew! Alright, I think Lovestruck Beast is coming in. They've got no mana at all, so... Alright. So I can actually do this with... I'd rather do it with the Carver because it's more worthwhile getting back. Oh, actually, no, that represents us losing 2 cards, doesn't it? If we do that. Yeah, Carver and Walker don't work very well together. So, yeah, if we do that, then we'll lose both of them. So, I guess I'll accept... I liked Carver to die so we can get it back and use its adventure over again. But I don't think the blocks really make sense otherwise. I think he's going to take out the spider. Yeah, there you go. That does not... Maybe they're just thinking that they're so far ahead at this point. Right, so... We can get back both of these guys. Right now, we've got 2 of these, so I'm okay with using this now. Whew. Alright. Yeah, once the feature is extremely nice. Alright, let's get that Spore Cap out. The Resolute Ride is going to be a nightmare to deal with. No surprising haste creatures. So what we can do is sacrifice the Ginger Brute for Insatiable Appetite. If we really need to. But for the time being, I think we're going to get... The problem is, yeah, it's so horrible to have to block against this guy. He's got enough mana to be able to do both of the effects. So he's going to be lifelinky and indestructible. Fortunately, Spore Cap Spider is big enough to be able to absorb that and not make it such of a big deal. We will get hit for 1 in the air, but I can live with that. Okay. Yeah, we need some instant speed removal, which I don't think we really have. But they're basically just doing nothing at this point is okay. What are they doing? Gonna give it some... Did they tap the wrong... Did they tap the wrong color land? No! Okay. I mean... I don't have anything else that can really block this guy, so... I will take that. It's not great, but I've got nothing else that can block it properly. He has made it so... No, he can't get lifelink, okay. Yeah, I've got to save the spider. Like, everything else sucks. Wait, what? Oh, it was going to die otherwise, okay. Hey, well, at least that whole situation worked out in such a... so that they'd actually get the life back. Alright. Jeez. So we're never ever going to be able to beat them down with the Ginger Brute because they're going to gain back 4 life every turn, but I have run into this kind of game with this set where it's just like it takes forever to play out a game because everyone's gaining life again and again and again and again. But nothing's really getting done. it's like we just kind of like everything stays the same as it was. It just takes a long time to get through the turn while accomplishing very little, and it hasn't really felt that way with Magic before, and I don't like it really. I think it feels really kind of blah as far as a way to play. I'm hoping we draw something other than land at some point. Oh, is it time for a big old pump spell? Is that what we're getting? Okay. I mean, I'm not devastated if that does happen. Right, so what could they have in white green? +2/+2 to everything, I think? So if I work on the assumption that's what we're getting, so I'll block this boyo, this one, might as well take out the Death Touch, I think, while we're here. So we're not going to get majorly blown out, we're going to lose a couple of creatures that weren't really doing anything anyway. Or maybe we just won't. What? I don't know what just happened there. They still got a bunch of creatures. Man, this pile of 1/1s have worked out pretty darn well for them. I think maybe we should have gone in and traded for them a lot earlier. There we go. I think Forever Young is really gross. I've had that before and just been like, this card just feels incredible to play with the adventure stuff. Yeah, man. It's so nasty. This feels like a game where we're probably just going to lose eventually. But, I don't know. Maybe if we ever drew anything, we'd be able to do stuff. Hey. Let's see. 8, 9, 10 land. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other cards drawn. Hey, JEC Gaming. You sent me a message on Discord, but then you gave me a very ominous message about needing to send me something. And then you didn't actually send me something, so I don't know what that was about. JEC Gaming, if it's to do with anyone hacking in MC5, I think you already know what the answer to that is. Which is that it hasn't got anything to do with me. Okay. Actually, I think Gingerbrute is more useful currently as a blocker that can block something large and then get eaten than it is as an attacker, because I don't think we're ever going to kill them with what we've got right now, so I'm not going to attack. More 1/1s. Spending a card to get a 1/1 that scries is that remotely worthwhile? Alright, I think it's time to get Om-Nom and Om-Nommed. Yeah, I'm really glad I didn't use the Gingerbrute to attack this time. Right, so I mean, if they got the big pump spell for everything, we're just going to die anyway. I feel like in this game we're just going to die anyway. Wait, then they definitely don't have a pump spell. Wait, do they? Wait, what? Yeah. We can see their hand. We know they don't have anything to cast. Why are they using their mana up? Do they have some? I want to activate. Oh, it's a Resolute Rider effect. Did they not realise we're about to sacrifice Ginger Brute? Oh, that's an instant? I didn't even know that. Okay. I don't know why that's an instant. That doesn't seem like that needs to be an instant. Silly Wabbit, don't you know that we were never planning to let you hit anything anyway? Jeez. It's so oppressive to play this game. They don't have any artifacts or enchantment. Well, great. Oi. Maybe they'll play one. I would be very happy to have gotten a Lovestruck Beast just out of a pack. Let's find out if we die. Spoiler, probably. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. No. We don't actually die. Okay. Unless they've got a pump spell of some kind. But at this point, I just want the game to be over. Artifact enchantment. Night Beast. Oh, we can kill our own thing. Well, that's something to look forward to. Fortunately, we get to live for one more turn in this oppressive game. Glorious. Why can't you be an enchantment, eh? Aye! Alright, let's draw something. Why do you hurt me, Dick? Why do you hurt me? Guess I'll just die. Honestly, it's kind of hilarious that that's the card after drawing tons of land. That's the card. True. Unbelievable. So, what did we get out of this game? What did we learn? I did learn there's a time to not attack with the Ginger Brute and use instead them as a sackable way to block. I think that's worth knowing. We've learned that Resolute Rider is pretty nasty. And if we were going to play a black-white deck, we'd probably want to be playing a bunch of these guys. So that's a very, very nice effect as a mana sink. We're learning that we don't really have mana sinks. Or at least, even if we did, we wouldn't have drawn them. Whatevs. Let's auto pass and get this heinous, heinous game over with. I mean... Well, at least we got some money out of the whole deal. We're likely to end up with 200 gems at the end of this. I thought this deck was quite a lot better than this. I think that was a particularly nasty game. So let's keep going and hope that the next game is a little bit more fruitful. That deck, I mean, some of the cards in there were just very, very hard to deal with. So... there we go. This is a bit more hectic. Yeah, I like this quite a lot. So Gilded Goose can get us everything which we need to get. Sorted. If we don't draw another green land, we can always burn our food to get Hengewalker out. Cool, they're going to scry too. I like Witching Well. You're only paying a little bit more for your draw effect, but you're getting a scry 2 off it as well. And you get to... Piercing, so the issue for the deck is it's a couple of creatures short. Yeah. Oh, let's go. Yes. So Emery. Like, I think this card is really stupid. Like, genuinely really, really stupid. Alright. So we could... Yeah, let's get... If they're doing nothing, we need to get out our bigger creature faster. Even if it's a little bit wasteful, it's still going to let us actually do something this turn. And Emery, yeah, Emery is so ridiculous, it's brilliant. I feel Emery feels like a card you could easily make a deck around. Because just being able to get any artifact back and play it again. Oh, jeez. Oh, that's right. Okay, no, we wouldn't have actually got anything out of that. So yes, we can play the banner, and then we can play Edgefull Innkeeper at the same time. Hey look! Hey look, meh! Gil the Goose actually doesn't have Defender on it. What great deck synergy! Yeah. Goose beatdown. It's the Great Goose. Yeah, oh man, it's so ridiculous. Alright. That's not too shabby. So we've got the Insatiable Appetite, if need be. Oh man, our Goose is going to trade off. Or is it? Bum, bum, bum. No, probably not. So we can have our 3/3 bounce off. Do we want to spend a... Oh man, I don't really want to... Is that 1 mana? Oh jeez, it's close to it. I don't want to kill the Golden Goose, because this is going to make us infinite food. But at the same time, we can't really attack if we don't. I think we've got to get rid of the Emery. I think Emery is going to make the whole deck impossible to deal with. Hoorah! We're going to make Emery bigger. Congratulations. No one's got haste, did they? No, okay. Oops. Yeah, I think Emery's too obnoxious to allow, especially because they've got stuff like this is an artifact that's going to allow them unlimited card draw. You're now an elk, Emery! How do you feel about that, huh? Probably pretty good, actually. Hey, Lamau! Well, guess they're going to get to Emery again. At least not this turn, I suppose. Man, Emery... Yeah, Emery's so ridiculous. I feel like this is an awful, awful card design. It's asking to have something incredibly stupid. Alright. Have we got a way to make... wait, we could... No, we can't make a food. But if we had food... Boy, imagine all the things we could do. So... Okay. This is the plan. It's a great plan. We are gonna need... Can we afford to toss? Let's see. What's if you're just gonna take all of our... Okay. Behold! I offer the trade of a goose. Why, that seems like a wonderful trade, doesn't it, gentle friend? Ha 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 ha! You've fallen right into my trap. Once and future goose! Ha 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 ha! Unlimited value! Also, Emery, you're going to be turned into an elk again. I'd just like you to know, ahead of time. Ah ha ha ha! Ugh. Ugh. Hex Snuggluth, you're making a very compelling case for having Adventurous Paladin be a 3/3 non-flyer, but I mean, we can't do anything but hit Emery, though. Or can we? We've got a food. Oh man, Insatiable Appetite is actually really, really ridiculous. Oh wait, they're not going to play out as a... Oh, what's this? A giant goose? Oh man. So this would make us a 4/5. Bigger than your one. Giant goose! Do we still have... We don't actually... If we attack with this, we don't have the ability to make Insatiable Appetite, but I can live with it. They haven't got any mana. I think we messed up with the Ginger Brute. Yes, we did. We should have used it before the attack. Yep. Yep, we did. I was hoping that would maybe be a... Alright, well we lost that for no reason. Yeah, it would have been better from the Ginger Brute. Okay. Sorry, Ginger Brute. You deserve better. And also, yeah, this now means we have to use Goose as our main attack vector. We could swing in for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Man. Let's hope that they tap out again. Yeah, 5, 5. So that's 8. So we've got 12. We've got 12 flying. Oh, that's a bit unfortunate. Man, I wish you hadn't lost the Ginger Brute. Well, that's 2 land we didn't need. Cool. Alright, well, I'll use this painful experience of forgetting to activate Ginger Brute beforehand as a reason. Oh, there we go. There's, oh, wait. Jeez, they're down to 1. I guess they're going to block the Gilded Goose with the Tomb Raider. If they do that... No, sorry, if they only leave the Tomb Raider up... Wait, what? Are they going to try and kill us? I don't think they can. Let's see, they've got 7, 8, 9 coming in. No red card's going to give them... I think we just win, don't we? They would have to do 7 damage with 1 red mana. I don't think that's possible. They can't afford to get rid of the golden egg. Can they? No, they can. So we don't quite have enough to kill them with. Okay, I still think that's probably alright. Any of you guys artifacts or enchantments? Yes. So we could get rid of one of their creatures. We could get rid of the heraldic banner. Yeah, I think the banner is probably the way to go here. That's going to take a lot of their power away. We can hold off on that until... The problem is we don't... Alright. I think we need to get rid of the thing now. I'm going to sack the food. So we are 1 short of killing them because we've got 8. That's a real shame. Yeah. Yeah, if we can make another food, then we win. Assuming that they love everything. And getting rid of the +1/+1 is going to lower their threat dramatically. Or their ability to instantly kill us. Do we get into a situation here where we have... Oh, jeez. We're about to become a 1/1 frog. Do we make a food before we're doing it? It's going to tap us. And I think it works out pretty much the same, doesn't it? One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think using that pump spell to kill a creature was really dumb. Oh, Tain Omaban 069 Ifoa. Nice to meet you too. We're just about to lose a... Well, I think it's very likely we're going to lose a arena run, which felt like it should have been a lot better. We get 7... plus 5. That's 12? Wait. No! If they get confused and don't block, I think... Wait. Oh, ooh, ooh. Oh, okay. Wait, I think... Can we... Tane, you sound a lot like a spam bot, but I appreciate you dropping by anyway. Guess I'll die. Oh well, I can't feel too bad about it. I got a questing beast out the whole deal. Yeah, because they had the Emery to chuck out there. Ah, yeah, Piers, if you do a screen share, actually no, I'm gonna go. Piers, are you doing this deck build on your stream? I think I'm pretty much done here. What do we get from the pack? Well, more ginger boots. Can't say no to that. And hey, nice. That's a decent card. Poop the fairies. Alright. Yeah. Alright, Piers, let's do a screen share to do a little bit of Piers deck building fun times. I think I've got these set up to allow for that. Now, let's see. Piers, yeah, give me a call and we'll get you sorted out. Hello, Piers. Right.
Hello, I don't know if I'm actually coming through or not.
You are, though I think I can hear myself coming back at me.
Oh yeah, let me fix that. Can't. Yes, I can hear you now.
Alright, let's throw in a Discord window. And hopefully, yeah. Alright, let's trim that down a little bit. Boop-a-doop-boo. Get rid of my... Francis from the side. And then, alright, so Piers, we're doing a draft pool with you. Oh, that's right, so you've already done the draft, but we're looking to get a little bit of extra eyes on the actual thing itself.
Yeah, this is a build. There are many other possible builds. I'm not quite sure which way to go with it.
Alright, so let's see. So we're looking at a blue deck that's got our top end of some black stuff.
Could be. That's one way to go about it, yeah. I mean, it's hard not to include the Clackbridge Troll and the Bacon to the Pie, right?
They're both when we were testing with the Clackbridge Troll, that thing was ridiculous.
It really runs away with the game. The problem I have with the Clackbridge Troll in this deck, though, is sort of done, for those of you that weren't paying attention to my comments, is I'm literally just testing out, trying to be completely obnoxious right now, by drafting 100% of the rares and mythics that I open. So this time we got Wishclaw Talisman, Oathsworn Knight, Sorcerer's Spyglass, Clackbridge Troll, and Stolen by the Fae.
That's pretty good to get 5 of them.
It's pretty good haul. The bots aren't drafting rares as aggressively as they normally are, which is actually more correct. Oh, and I got Sorcerer's Spyglass as well, so 6 of them out of the 3 packs.
Nice.
And then I'm just forcing blue-black mill. Whether it seems to be open or not, I'm just forcing it to see whether it is consistently possible to do that against the bots right now. It seems like it is, because cards like Merfolk's Secret Keeper, cards like Didn't Say Please, cards like So Tiny, these are the absolute backbone of the mill deck in this format. The bots are just consistently passing them very, very, very late. So it doesn't even need to be that blue is open for you to get all of the good blue mill cards. Even if they're in blue, they're not really taking them. So yeah, the Clackbridge Troll, it's very powerful, but it's an 8/8 trample haste, which is great. But like, I just played this deck, and I never once killed someone by attacking. I won seven games and lost one, and every single one of those seven games I won by just sitting back and blocking and milling them out. So Clackbridge Troll is a fantastic attacker, or they have to tap it down and give you resources. But I just don't know how much attacking matters. But it might be actually just as an 8/8 blocker. It's so good that, like, unless they're killing move flyers, they can't kill me through this without tapping it down. But the problem with playing it is that double black. If I cut the Clackbridge Troll and the Bacon to the Pie, I get to run the 2 Mystic Sanctuaries, which gets me the huge suite of instants and sorceries back. So this puts an instant or sorcery back on top of your library. We have the Stolen by the Fae, huge, huge bomby rare. We've got the Covetous Urge, which seems very strong. I've not played with it yet, but you steal a card from their hand and then cast it. And there's also a sort of better fail case than just missing on it. We've got Turn into a Pumpkin, which is a really powerful bounce card, really great for when you're trying to stall people out. We've got the Didn't Say Please. Once you're in a winning position, if you can recur a counterspell to your hand, your opponent just can't get back in that game. And then the Runaway Together, which is also fantastic in list because you're slowing their stuff down and you're rebuying your Secret Keepers, so you get to mill them for 8 for each Secret Keeper. So the Mystic Sentries seem really, really good, but I can't play them in a deck that's running Bake into a Pie and Clackbridge Troll. I just can't get enough black sources. I can still run some black stuff, like some single black mana stuff with these, but I mean, you need to have like 10 plus lands to support these, or they're just going to come into tapped all the time. And then the other big question mark is like, how many artifacts do I play? I've got the Emery. I don't even know if it's playable with this build. With this build, I've only got the Witching Well, which is obviously broken. If you're recasting your Witching Well from your graveyard over and over with Emery, that's broken. The Prophet at the Peak is a really great thing to recast if you're casting it and people are dealing with it. When I've not got either of those things, Emery's just a 1/2 for 3, and that's really garbage in this deck. So I don't know if that's enough artifacts, if I should be trying to run some of these other things as well.
So I was looking at the Gargoyle as something which just... Because I've done it with the Gargoyle before because it's so incredibly cheap. Emery is really amazing at recurring it back and just being like, I'm going to get a free, like, okay blocker, which the potential to turn into a very good blocker every turn for almost free.
Yeah, a 2/3 flyer blocks everything, right? I actually worked it out the other day. The 3/4 flyer is the biggest flyer outside of rare. So basically everything is small enough for Lockthwain Gargoyle to tangle with in the air. And as you say, the blocking part is really good. Like, the 0/4 is a lot better than the 0/3 in this format because it blocks basically everything. But a big part of the Secret Keeper's value is just being a great cheap blocker. So throwing a bunch of these down early just makes it incredibly hard for your opponent to get through. And as you say, not only is it really easy to recur it cheaply with the Emery, but the Emery gets cost reductions based on the amount of artifact creatures you have, and the cheaper the artifacts you have, the cheaper they are, the better. So you might even throw out, you know, a couple of these early and then get the Emery for 1 mana, and at 1 mana she's really great.
Yeah, I played with the Emery before, and I was like, that was a card which I was like, man, this looks like it should be quite. Oh, you got 3 of them. Yeah, I mean, like, I found I got a lot of mileage out of that. What's the other? You've got the Keep as a potential Clackbridge Troll, sort of doing the same sort of thing. No,
that's the black version of this, isn't it? It puts a creature on top. Is that what we're talking about?
Huh? No, I'm saying that in terms of if you're looking for more artifacts, you could swap out the Clackbridge Troll for the Keep with the 7-cost Defender.
Oh, I'm sorry, the Roving Keep. I see what you're saying. Yeah, actually, you know, you don't make a bad point there. It is 2 more mana, but if we're talking about Clackbridge Troll as just a big thing that blocks, Roving Keep also does do that quite well. It doesn't give them the option to turn it off as a blocker, and like, I think that's probably better actually, even though you're getting great value when they do. If they're doing it, it's worth them doing it, so it's probably better that you just don't have that.
One of these things you could also get back, like, as well with the Emery.
Yeah, I did find one of the big advantages with this deck when I played it last time, though, is just how ridiculously cheap it is. Like, the bread and butter of your deck is 1 mana things. You know, you have 1 mana removal spells, you have 1 mana threats, 1 mana blockers. So I'm sort of slightly hesitant to get something at 7 mana in here, but it might be correct to do so. But I would say all of these things are the things you could play. I guess technically the Merfolk would get in there as well. Oh, and the Forbidding Fruit. How to pare that down is very hard.
Yeah, I think I don't think Forever Young does work well with your adventure stuff, but you've not got a lot of creatures, do you? You've got some.
Let's take a look. So this says 15, but that's including some will cut. We probably aren't running the Keep and the Clackbridge Troll in the same deck, for example. With the Secret Keepers, it's obviously fantastic. With Overwhelmed Apprentice, it's really nice. Basically, you're looking for adventures or enter the battlefield effects, aren't you? Emery technically has an into battlefield effect that's not terrifically relevant for this list. And in fact, actually works terribly if Forever Young. Part of the value of Forever Young is going, okay, it's late game. I'm going to put 5 spells on top of my deck. I will draw a spell for the next 4 turns of the game. You're going to draw a land or 2 in there, and so I'm going to get ahead on that. Emery mills away the creatures you put on top unless you put her last. Yeah, Prophet of the Peak. Clackbridge Troll technically has an end to the battlefield effect, but it's not what you want. So I guess there aren't an enormous number of good targets for Forever Young. It is nice to have the recursion with the Secret Keepers, but I hit a lot of runaway togethers, so it just might not be relevant this time.
I think
it can be a good way of rebuying them.
It kind of feels like we're going a long way around that you should probably just get rid of all the black stuff.
I mean, it certainly, it was an option I was considering. I don't know if it should be 100% of them. Things like Lash of Thorns are actually a surprisingly good card in this deck. The big issue I have with Lash of Thorns is like, the Death Touch doesn't normally do anything, because either the creature is large enough your creature is large enough that the +1 keeps it alive against the creature it's in combat with, in which case the +2 would probably kill the creature anyway. Or, okay, maybe you're getting value out of the Death Touch because you're killing something big, but your creature's dying anyway, so you're getting 2 for 1. This is the deck where it actually does something, because you're playing so many like stupid 0-4s and they stick around forever. This actually does just trade for a creature on its own.
That's true.
You just put any power and Death Touch on something with huge toughness and it's going to kill whatever it's blocking. So Lash of Thorns is actually quite strong in this list, I think. Bacon to Pie is nice because it's an answer. I kind of wish I'd actually gone for the single black but more narrow removal spell that I was offered instead of it, because yeah, playing the double black is harsh in here. I think you can play like Lash, Forbidding Fruit, Eye Collector and still have enough blue for the Mystic Sanctuary. Eye Collector's not bad. It's a bit slow, but it is actually meaningfully moving the plan forward.
What would you be taking out if you did put that black stuff in?
Well, I guess that's the question, is what does the mono blue list look like? I haven't actually played with Covetous Urge, but I think it probably is quite strong. People seem to be quite excited about it.
Oh yeah, I mean it's kind of, it feels like you're not gonna get like the prime pick because of how expensive that is, but it certainly seems like you're gonna probably find your opponent's bomb and yoink it.
Yeah, well, keep in mind that you don't need to cast the thing that turn, so if you're playing a defensive deck, you've got all the time in the world to find a use for it, so you can even grab things like removal that you don't have a target for yet. And the fact that you can get something from their graveyard means that as long as they have something you'd be okay with getting in their graveyard, which, spoiler, they're going to because we're milling them.
Wait, Covetous Urge graveyard?
Yeah, so it searches their hand, and then you exile from their graveyard or their hand. So if they reveal their hand and it's all land, or it's like land and something garbage you just don't care about, instead of just trading it 1-for-1 with the card or for nothing if they've only got land, you can make sure, okay, my fail case is I take this Bake into a Pie out of their graveyard or whatever it may be, and then it can only be better than that. So it's a lot safer than these effects normally are.
Okay.
I think it will be good.
No, that's I didn't actually, because again, it's like one of those things where you see a card, you know similar cards, you don't actually read it.
It's so much text.
But yeah, like that's ridiculous in a mill deck. Like, you're guaranteed to probably play their best card a lot more frequently than they are.
Yeah, exactly, because as you said, actually, quite often you're hoping to hit their bomb. So sometimes you mill their bomb and you're like, okay, I get to look at your hand. I don't even care what's in it, though. I'm taking this bomb out of your graveyard, please.
Yeah. Oh, man. And I like as well that it's, yeah, that you said you got the several turns to build up the mana to cast it. So, I mean, yeah, I don't understand why you wouldn't want to just play that all the time forever.
I don't know about the Vantress Paladin. Again, it has like a 3/3 flying for 4 is just a really great rate, and it will always be that if we're mono blue. It's nice to have answers to flyers as blockers, but I wonder if this is kind of like, well, this is 4 mana, which is a lot to spend in this deck for something that's really good at attacking, and we just don't care about attacking. It might be actually our answers generally keep their flyers under control. Maybe we don't care about flyers as much anyway because we'd rather point our answers at their bigger, more powerful ground creatures.
there's definitely, well, we saw, I don't know if you saw the game and draft, we got the hell beaten out of us by 2/2 flyers and stuff in that area.
I did see that. Yeah.
So, like, I don't think it's worthless to have something that's big enough to be able to block nearly all of the flyers.
Yeah.
As opposed to the stolen by the fairies.
Yeah. Other than that, though, we potentially do have the Lockthwain Gargoyles and the Stolen by the Fae, plus all of our interaction. So in terms of interaction, we're looking at 2 turn into a pumpkins, bounce something, draw a card, and get a food.
I do think that's, like, that turn into a pumpkin, I feel like that was a different card at some point during its development, because this does not turn anything into a pumpkin. It gets rid of something for a little while and leaves the pumpkin behind.
Oh yeah, and the same thing with Stolen by the Fae, actually. Stolen by the Fae, and there's another very rare, it's an adventure card that bounces something that's like Little Thief. Bouncing something back to their hand is not stealing something. That's just...
Oh, you think at some point it went to your hand?
I think both of those cards, it seems like they were perhaps designed around another mechanic. It's possible, given that there's a lot of bounce cards that have slightly iffy flavour, I'm wondering if there was actually some sort of different mechanic, like a blink mechanic or something that got cut after they started going to art for things.
Yeah,
difficult to say,
I'm certain there must have been, because I mean, especially because this set's kind of stretching at times to kind of get its thematic. Even though it's like, I know you said it's like a top-down set where it's designed with thematic and like some of the stuff. I do feel like, you know, as much as you've got a lot of fairy tale stuff in this, I think because they've kind of edgified a lot of it, it doesn't really read terribly well. As, you know, like the Goldilocks one, for instance. It's like, you have to look at that for a little while, like, oh, it's Goldilocks, right.
But you say that, but it's actually... I know exactly where you're coming from, is that, you know, like, look at Wishful Merfolk. She yearned to walk on dry land, so she might take her vengeance there. And, like, it's you know, the merfolk in it is very sort of dark, edgy-looking merfolk. It doesn't necessarily read as The Little Mermaid, but the reason that we have that is that these versions of the characters don't reflect our expectations from the Disney characters. But actually, when you go back to the source of the original Grimm Brothers fairy tales, they were like, grim and dark like this. They've been Disney-fied since. But these are almost sort of more true to the actual original. I think
it's like, I knew that you were going to go there. I knew, like, instantly. I was like, I knew you were going to be like, but actually, the original stories is like this. I don't care. I don't care that the original story was like that. That's not the point. The point is not to sell it to the audience of people who read the original ones, because that's not what people are in here for. We're here for shit that actually resembles the thing it's supposed to resemble. And in this case, you have to really, like, the Wishful Merfolk, like, they could have done it a lot, they could have adhered a lot closer to the Disney, I mean, theoretically, that is close to the Disney thing, but you look at it, like, nobody looks at that and thinks, oh, it's a Little Mermaid. Like, that's the same for nearly everything in the set that's supposed to be reminiscent of other stuff. It's like, yeah, theoretically it's a Little Mermaid card, theoretically it's a Goldilocks card, but it doesn't read that way, and it doesn't matter how accurate it is, it doesn't matter if the Brothers Grimm like resurrected themselves from the afterlife and said, good job, wizards, this is historically accurate. It doesn't accomplish what it's supposed to do, which is to create the effect of being like, oh, it's a Little Mermaid card. If it doesn't feel like the Little Mermaid, why have a Little Mermaid card?
I know, I definitely do see your point of view. I think you do make a good point there in that I guess maybe one of the issues is that if you tap too much into people's sort of, oh, it's, you know, this Disney princess or something, they might start knocking on your door with some serious questions from their lawyers.
I know that's probably part of it, but I feel like they went too far in just being like, you know, a lot of this stuff could be in any set. Like that Wishful Merfolk thing could definitely be in any set. And like, even though you'd be like, why does it do that? And it still wouldn't, it doesn't strongly read. I don't know. I'm trying to get my thoughts in line for that, but I just feel like I think they went too far with trying to genericize their stuff while having their cake and eating it by saying, like, we're going to have something which is The Little Mermaid, but it's barely recognizable. And, yeah.
I actually think for me the Albion, King Arthur and the Round Table thing seemed further from my expectations. It doesn't feel very much like they are And it probably is that perhaps they're more accurate to the source material, but it doesn't feel like there's a really strong, clear Merlin and Arthur and Lancelot and Gwendolyn.
Yes, no, that's what I was thinking as you were saying that. Like, Emery Lurker of the Loch is probably the one that's the closest connected to the actual Arthurian legend. Everything else is just generic knight, or let's make a million knights. Like King Arthur you're right, was about individual personality knights, not about just create as many knights as possible. And it's like, yeah, that feels like it's completely missing the point.
And I think that there probably are specific analogues, but it's hard to pick them out. And some of them you're like, okay, well, I can see this must be the one they've done for Merlin, but it doesn't feel very Merlin-y, for example.
Well, that's the same thing as everything else they're doing, is it doesn't feel very closely... You're just coming at this from the Arthurian side, I'm coming from the fairy tale side. Neither of us are satisfied with what we're getting from this set, which is stuff that's allegedly based on mythology, but is so distant from it that it may as well not be.
I wonder if that's about our sort of personal attachment to those things growing up. So for me, like the Disney stuff actually kind of works for me. I quite like things like Wishful Merfolk flavor-wise.
Well, it's because you have young nieces, or maybe you do actually, I don't know, who watch Little Mermaid all the time.
Exactly right. Yeah, I think I'm so much less invested in the Disney versions of these things. I think I watched them a tiny bit growing up, but never super got into them. Whereas I loved like the Arthurian legends and things. I was way more into those growing up. So I think there might be some element of it.
So I do understand where you're coming from with that, which is that, yeah, for King Arthur, it was very much more about the... Like, this Oathsworn Knight, this could be a Arthurian Knight, but who the hell knows? Actually, no, it's a Monty Python reference.
It really is, yeah. No,
it's rather than anything else. But
the Black Knight, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's totally the Black Knight. But yeah, I feel like it's a swing and a miss with this set in terms of... I think they've done a decent job of making a set that's fun to play with, but I think... Maybe it's because it's their first shot at it that they've over genericized stuff to maybe avoid getting lawsuits, and it's just a bit disappointing.
I think the other thing as well though is they want to make sure that it does have its own identity and its own feel, because you can do that first set of Throne of Eldraine, which is okay, let's show you, here's the gingerbread house, here's the Little Mermaid, here's all of these things that are in it, but you can't do that for multiple sets in a row. It needs to then go off in its own direction and have its own identity. So it might be that's part of it as well, is that they're trying to make it feel distinct and feel like its own thing so that they can build up a world for future sets. If they choose to return there, I mean, obviously, they don't necessarily know whether they're going to return to a set, because return to a plane, because they tend to do a plane in that set in the plan for the next few years, and then depending on how people respond to it, they'll decide whether they go back or not.
Yes, I mean, I think what they might start doing is just hitting up more obscure mythology and ripping that off instead. Like, I don't know if they necessarily get that much value out of actually coming up with their own stuff when it's probably going to end up being even unintentionally derivative of pre-existing stuff, just because there's just so much mythology around already. Anyway, so we got vastly off topic there, but at least I got to complain about something that annoys me, and that's, honestly, I feel like that's a win.
Yeah, I could go with that. So I don't like the lack of card advantage that I'm at least perceiving to be in this deck. So we have the Witching Well and the Emery. We have the Turn to Pumpkins, which are kind of card advantage, so they just break even. We have the Mystic Sanctuary. But I kind of like to have actual hard draw. So I wonder if the Forbidding Fruit would make its way back in anyway. But we would still need to make 4 cuts just to get a mono blue deck put together. I do worry about the Roving Keep and the Prophet of the Peak just being a bit expensive. I could see maybe cutting the Roving Keep in favour of just having more Lochthwain Gargoyles. But then, of course, you do have the risk of getting run over by huge things. But I wonder if we cut the Keep, maybe we can cut a land. Might be too greedy to also keep the Prophet. Definitely we can cut land if we cut the Prophet. Because the thing to keep in mind is this deck is going to plan for games to go really long. You're looking to go through every single card of your opponent's deck. So you will find that eventually you draw, 10, 15 mana over the course of the game.
I do think that Prophet of the Peak is probably not going to save your ass if you're looking down an opposing board full of creatures. I think at the point where you can be casting out Prophet of the Peak, they're going to be casting out something probably quite a lot better.
Possibly.
if their deck is doing anything.
Mm.
Like if you're in a situation where a 5/5 is gonna, I mean, it will stop their small stuff, but it will, if they've got a big creature.
The thing is, they may not do. 5/5 is pretty huge in this format. If we go and have a look at the actual Throne of Eldraine commons and uncommons.
Oh, how do I get that avatar? I think I might have.
Oh, it's email. If you are in the closed beta, they will have emailed you at some stage. If you never got it, or if you totally never got it and didn't lose it at all, then I think you're supposed to contact support and they will hook you up once they've verified you're in the closed beta. Mine might have gone to a junk email folder now I think about it, which was weird because most of my stuff from Magic makes it through fine. I've not done the filtering I meant to do.
Yeah, I've definitely got a bunch of emails from them, but I don't know which one it's supposed to be in.
I mean, it should be only that topic if I remember rightly. While you're having a look at that, I'll just talk about this. So, if you have a look at white,
oh, there we go, found it.
You have Ardenvale Paladin is a 3/6. I mean, that's still not getting through, but it can at least tack into it. So I guess if they have two of them, they can attack repeatedly. That's it. The biggest creature other than that is the 4/4 First Strike. Now, that's not to say that they can't add counters to things. The Shining Armor's not actually adding any power. But basically, without adding counters to stuff, they don't have a single creature that can punch through a 5/5. Every single white creature is smaller than 5 power. If you look at blue, I think it's a similar story. Yeah, Moonlit Scavengers is the big thing in blue, and that's a 4/5. They're much less able to put counters on things. They do have the Mantle of Tides. So if they have Mantle of Tides and the 1/6 that'll punch through it. Queen of Ice sort of gets through it, but not really because it just dies. In black, I don't think there's any Death Touch creatures actually. That's an important thing to note. No, of course there is. There's the
Knight, who's actually on the screen right now.
Knight. Is he on screen? Oh, there he is. Yeah, I can see him. So they've got the Foulmire Knight. Again, though, I don't think there's anything over 5 power. Oh, the Sword Comrade. Sword Comrade will do it. But this is not like coincidental. This is very intentional design. They've specifically set it up so that that 5/5, as you were saying previously in the stream, is a good curve topper for every single deck. They've intentionally got the stats set up such that almost nothing in the set can trade with it without some additional help. Emperor of Paladin will. Never seen someone run one. I'd probably only run it in mono red. But that can do it with the Adamant. Still a trade though. I mean, these things aren't invalidating it, but that's the only thing in red. Green will have a few things I would expect, but it's probably fewer than you might guess. So there's Garenbrig Paladin. Obviously, another Death Touch creature will get through it. The Turinvale Treefolk and the Beanstalk Giant. Only 3.
Oh, sorry. Just as an aside,
creatures.
you know that I got a questing beast from the for the draft.
Yes, very excitingly.
Guess what I got from my pack from the thing? A second questing beast.
Amazing.
That's right. I've discovered I don't need to be good at playing Magic. I just need to be good at opening packs.
Not a bad pack. Did you want to do a cracker pack since you've pulled it up on screen?
Oh, sure, why not? Let me.
But yeah, that's it. There's like 4 or 5 things that can trade with profit at the peak. Everything else is smaller than it.
But yeah, well, this is actually a pretty good pack. We got the Order of Midnight as well as the questing beast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's nice stuff there.
Order of Midnight, basically Gravedigger with upside, which on its own is quite an exciting card. Merchant of the Veil is really good as well, I think. Just huge consistency boost. Again, as we just covered, creatures are a bit smaller than you might expect in this format, so a 2/3 is a decent sized creature for 3 mana. Haggle is fantastic when you keep in mind that there are the cards in blue and red that pay you off drawing a card. You don't need to get a net benefit for it. So being able to do that at instant speed is really strong. And then just having that static effect for 2 mana and a red to turn any poor sort of weak or sideboard card or land into meaningful spells is very, very strong. It gives you huge inevitability.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I've picked up a lot of them for a red-blue deck that didn't ultimately do very well. But it did end up with some nice cards. We've seen the Carver is probably not going to get any play anywhere, really.
I mean, it's not a bad card. It's just not as good as those other three. But, as you saw, you can trade Shield's Might for a creature, and then you get a creature. That's just a really nice, solid 2-for-1. Neither side is actually very good on its own. Shield's Might, +2/+2 for 2 is sort of... You'll play that if you need to have a pump spell level. And a 3/2 for 4 is you'll play that if you need another creature. Both of those are generally like your 23rd card. Getting both of them for one card makes that quite strong together. It's also just the only adventure pump spell in green at all. And green is a color combination that's very much about curving out creatures and beating down, which means that it benefits a lot from pump spells, and adventure pump spells are just better than regular pump spells. Being able to get a pump spell that can always give you a creature just increases your consistency so much.
Obviously, Bacon's Pie is lovely.
Yeah, really, really strong. Just great value even without the food. 4 mana instant destroy target creature is always going to be good. As you've seen as well in some of the earlier games, even if you don't have specific payoffs for the food, just eating it can be good.
Yes, I like that you've managed to find a good power level for the food where it's worthwhile, but not like it doesn't. You're not kind of like cursing if you have to use the food that way. But which I think it could. I think it probably at some point in development it could have easily been that where they were trying to play around the numbers and they were like, this doesn't feel great to have food. Like maybe it gave you 2 life or something.
Yeah.
And then people were just like, we never ever want to eat food ever. And they were like, alright, we'll give you a bit more for it. And then it might be a little bit over top. Like, well, yeah, I played several games in my draft before where it's like, people were just generating food infinitely. And I was like, this is just... Like, there's the equipment that lets you get food every time you hit a creature.
Yeah, that thing's great.
Which is just like it's so many scenarios to end up in endless life or like as good as endless life, which I'm not super peachy keen on. It feels like maybe they've made it a little too easy to get food, but
I think that the giant skewer you're talking about is the best of that cycle of the I think it's common equipment.
Yeah. And
I think it's because they've underrated just how good it is for it to be spitting out food every time that creature gets into combat. It's also ridiculous when you combine it with Cauldron Familiar, the 1/1 cat for 1 that drains for 1 when it comes into play, and you can sack a food to reanimate it. You can throw the skewer on that, get yourself a 3/2. If that's interacted with in any way in combat, again, a 3/2 is going to trade off with most things. You then get food, allowing you to get it back, and then you re-equip it. I've certainly won a few games with that quite obnoxious combination of just an uncommon and a common, both of which are playable in their own right.
Yeah, I've played against it, and I've just hated every moment of it. I'd be like, it's the card that definitely makes you feel like, wow, I feel like such a schmuck for playing Magic.
Yeah.
Because this is just going to punish me for trying to play the creature game by... Yeah, Gingerbread Cabin, I know you tried to bang this into the food deck. I don't recall it ever doing anything apart from coming in tapped, so...
Well, we were just talking about how good food is. So I think getting a full food for free by playing a land is great. It's just that you need to have enough sources for it. I mentioned earlier when you were talking about building your list, or during your draft perhaps, that Frank Carston, the sort of Magic math guy, has done an article about this. He seems to be saying that he'd only want to play... Sorry, he'd only need to have 11 sources of that colour before he plays the first one of those cards. But his stats on that says that your probability of it coming to play untapped on turn 4, the earliest turn you could play it, is only 46.9% for that. So I think you'll be a bit higher.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd rather be at like 13. At 13, you're getting 71% odds of it coming to play untapped. Sorry, is that right? No, at 13 it's still 63.5.
It feels like it's a mono green card.
If you're mono green, it's great. If you've got 16 forests, you have an 88.5% chance it comes into play untapped on the first turn. It can come into play untapped.
Well, I guess the thing is, like, presumably you could make a mono green deck that had ways of accessing other colors, so you could play Oko and that kind of stuff, like the elf that makes extra mana and things. And then you could just play just forests and potentially get this kind of stuff to go off.
Yeah, I think that's definitely viable. Keep in mind as well, if you are mono green, there's a good chance you can make use of food. So if you're mono green and you're looking to splash the egg, is it lucky egg? Golden egg, I think it's called.
Yes, golden egg is a way to get more mana as well.
Yeah, that'll help you with your splashes quite well. Yeah, golden egg, 2 mana, food. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card. 1 and tap. Add 1 mana of any color.
Yeah, I think that could work pretty well to say. Yeah, like splash the deck.
Mm-hmm.
I guess at that point you could even start goofing around with like having black cards and blue cards in there as well, just because you say I've got 8-10 different ways of getting whatever mana I need at any given moment, and as long as I'm not playing tons of this.
Yeah, I mean certainly if you're like playing 3 or 4 elves, you can basically play 1 or 2 one coloured mana cards from every colour. You know, you could play a 1 black card and a 1 red card and a 2 and a blue card all in the same list if they're all coming off the elves, because they tap. You only really need like 3 or 4 sources for a card like that, because the elves tap for every single colour. You can absolutely have them do that for multiple colours at a time. The eggs make that a bit harder because they're a one and done thing. So they're better for if you're splashing a single colour. But certainly they can contribute to it. You can get to a situation where it becomes very easy to splash anything that isn't, colour.
Yes, like you can throw in tempting witches or something silly like that. Just as more ways to make use of, just having a bunch of food around the place.
Yeah, and it's a really, really good way to close out games. 3 damage to the face that your opponent can't stop is very, very hard to deal with.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm a little. Well, I say I'm quite a way off being able to make a silly deck like that, but the drafts have been alright for me so far. I don't think my results have been terribly amazing, but the cards I've gotten have been alright. I'm pretty close actually to being able to do another draft, so I think I'll maybe do another one next week.
Okay, you were talking about wanting to challenge our draft decks up against each other, and obviously we can't do that because you have to have a minimum of 60 cards. Are you deep enough that you could build a 60-card version of that list?
Maybe. Let's see. I think I can remember everything that was in the... At least I can go by Throne of Eldraine and green. What was it? It was just green and a little bit of red. Yeah, I suppose we could do like... I mean, I'm certain your deck's going to kick the living crap out of mine.
Well, you say that, but the maximum of 4 cards is actually a bit of a downside for me. I think I had more than 4 copies of the core cards in my 40-card deck. So only having 4 in a 60-card deck might be a little bit problematic.
I think you're out of your mind, sir. You think it's going to be anything but a complete massacre. I mean,
well,
I'm
just going to play mono Throne of Eldraine rather than try and recreate a deck exactly. So I would recommend you do the same, because it is looking a bit scary now that I look at that.
I mean, I don't mind giving it a try. I suspect the result will be very short.
I think you've got my deck build on screen at the moment, haven't you?
I don't know. I'm going through and grabbing the stuff because it won't take that long to put mine together. Because I'm just kind of putting in. Because yeah, I mean, I know it's all obviously all Throne of Eldraine stuff. Okay. That's right. This one. This one. This one.
I'm actually having to dig a little bit deeper than I thought I would to fill out this deck. Oh, I'm not adding any black out. That's probably part of it.
Hey, Once and Future will be good against your deck.
Which is Once and Future?
The get back stuff from the graveyard to your hand.
Oh yeah, no, that thing's very good. Is that the one that puts it back on top of the deck?
No, it puts it into your hand.
That's the one you really want. So the one that puts any number of creatures from your graveyard on top of your deck is really strong against Mill, as is Sir Conrad, because he punishes your opponent for milling you.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know, I feel a bit weird about putting specific hate for your deck into mine,
I mean,
but maybe
I get what you're saying against, like, an opponent. It is me, though, so... Are you sure you feel that guilty?
What was it again? Forever Young. Wait, silly thing. Yeah, I kind of got to.
I've kind of gone for basically what I've drafted in these decks, and then filled it in with stuff that makes sense in that deck. Haven't necessarily gone for the most powerful version of the deck possible from the pool that I have. The real question, and this is a difficult one, what do I put as the deck box? I think it has to be the Folio Fancies. That's sort of the iconic card for the list, isn't it? Just a ridiculous mill engine. Oh, do you know what? I've not put that bounce spell in. That's pretty iconic of the deck I was playing. This one. So what can we cut for that? I didn't actually have any of those in my deck.
I think Beanstalk Giant's a little counterintuitive, but at the same time I think it's going to maybe let the deck go off faster.
Just having big things is good. Oh, and of course the ramp. Yes, the ramp is good too. I see what you're saying, though. Pulling cards out of your own deck seems bad. I mean, I have to say, when I've played a deck with Beanstalk Giant in it against Mill, I've just gone for it. And tried to kill them before it was too late.
Yeah, well, I mean, I kind of figure that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, if it came to hand, it wouldn't be worthwhile. But that it does... it's just... I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh yeah, the rat deck. Oh boy, the rat deck. I've been picking up the Pied Piper, but I've been seeing them just because I'm like, that looks funny.
Is this the 1/2 that makes rats when you draw cards?
No, that is the rat, the red card that makes rats. This is Piper of the Swarm that lets you sack off 3 rats to gain control of an opposing creature, and very cheaply makes rat tokens. It's 1 and a black tap to make a rat token.
That thing's very strong. That thing's very good. Yeah.
Like, I could see a lot of decks would have huge problems trying to deal with that. Alright, what other stuff can I do? I don't actually have any knights, do I, to be able to... 1. I was thinking I use that to get back stuff on graveyard. Let's see, stuff that involves graveyard.
You're going deep on the mill hate now, huh?
I can play Deathless Knight, there we go. And if I've got a bunch of food, I can get it back every turn. Actually, Deathless Knight was really nasty.
I guess we should do best of 1 so we don't have to mess around with sideboards and stuff, huh?
Alright. What other stuff do I have that might be remotely worth playing? Not very much.
Put my deck back up while you're putting that together.
I was playing that, so I'm going to put that in.
So unfortunately, I'm reasonably confident you can't queue up with 40 card decks anymore in Direct Challenge because people are abusing it. But basic idea is this is more or less what I drafted in the previous draft, / a little bit what I drafted in this draft, which both times I just forced the same deck.
What's the how do people abuse it?
They would find other ways of doing a draft and then play it out using Direct Challenge.
Oh, right. So, yeah, I get what you're saying, which is that, yeah, they just, yes, they'd use their own collection. I mean, that's kind of dumb, though. I think people are going to do that anyway.
Well, I mean, you can draft a 60-card draft format It's just that people don't really realise that that's a thing and therefore don't want to do it. So it's not really such a big concern. Like, there's nothing inherent about limited that means that it should be 40 cards rather than 60 cards. It's just that 40 card decks work and make sense. The smaller the decks, the better in terms of limited. So the problem with playing 60 card decks in limited is that it's not just that you need to draft like 20% more cards, because it actually needs to be more than that, because you then need the power level to be a bit higher for the consistency trade-off to work out. The larger the decks are, the more inconsistent they become.
All right, I've got my anti-peers deck completed.
All right, let's see how it works for
its anti-peers efficacy is questionable. So I think I need your, because this is a silly system, I think I need your
It
one as
probably
well.
is on your drop-down box, and if not, I have popped it into your stream chat.
Oh, there we go. Okay, cool.
Should have put it into your Discord. Didn't.
Select deck, anti-peers deck, let's go. I don't think my deck is, I've literally just chucked in whatever stuff I could find.
Nice. Well, I mean, it took slightly
not a lot.
longer than mine, so hopefully it's going to be at least equivalently put together. Well, that's a bad start. I'm going to mull this.
Yeah, I'm going to mull mine as well.
This isn't much better. It's better. Okay. Let's get rid of that.
My hand is a whole lot of ass as well. Alright, at least this is a hand that actually does something.
The stream is currently showing both of our views, but not really.
There we go. Alright. I'm going to keep hold of once and future. Because I know I'm going to need it.
So I'm basically tutoring for you, aren't I? Just turn your deck sideways and let you pick anything you want from it.
Yep. Seems fair to me.
Well, let's start
Cheers.
that. Oof.
Oof.
Oof. What I'm
Big oof.
oofing at is the questing beast, for those of you who are following at home.
That's gonna be fun for you to deal with. Now I've got two of them because of that card. Oh, because of that pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, we can deal with it. I'll be fine.
Can you?
That can go away. This we can keep. That might be the better way to deal with it. Options. I guess it's not coming down for a little while anyway. It's going to be 8 mana for you to get it back. But with that being the case, I'm going to do this. No! What? Why did that happen?
Rookie move, huh?
Oh, because you only... Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it was a rookie move. Because I was thinking, oh, it's telling me I can cast Drown on the Lock. He must have 3 things in the graveyard so I can counter Fertile Footsteps. You did not. You had 2 so I could counter... We could just kill the Curious Pair. Oops.
What a nerd.
That's going to really blow up on me, given that I'm just playing Revenge of Ravens now. Much rather you had a 1/3 in play.
Oh, whoops. I thought I had a black land. Guess I don't.
Those are useful. Do you have black land in your deck?
Hopefully. Do I want an Edgewall Innkeeper?
I don't know. Probably.
I do need some
cast,
cards.
haven't you?
I do actually need some cards to be able to play the game.
Cards are generally encouraged.
I think this particular card I brought in is a real waste of time. But never mind.
One that you've just played, or one that you have
One that I have
dashed
yet
away
to play.
See. Interesting. Guess I might as well attack here. The only thing you're going to crash in with haste is going to be a 4/4 that can't be blocked by things of power 2 or less. So my Overwhelmed Apprentices are not doing very much against that anyway.
Get quested on.
There he is. Alright, well, that happened.
By special request.
Come at me.
Meow, meow. I'm a pussycat. Meow, meow.
The reason I waited until you attacked before casting this is so I get the trigger from the Revenge of Ravens. Otherwise, you'd have just not attacked. Well, actually, I guess, yeah, it only makes it a 2/4 at the moment, so it's still worth attacking. For now. Pretty soon. This does upgrade to the -6 when you get milled out a bit further.
I don't imagine that's going to be terribly hard for you to do.
You say that. Again, that consistency hit of going to 60 cards and only being able to allowed a maximum of 4 of anything is pretty challenging. Okay, I don't think I really care about that because gaining life is just not relevant if I'm milling you out. But I guess it does help you cast your black stuff, huh?
Mm-hmm. Not that I've mentioned anything about that already at this point. So, do I keep a hitting you?
And actually, you couldn't have cast your giant until you cast it.
So
I don't see why not. Like,
you're taking 1, I'm losing 1, so I'm actually going down further by doing this.
But the damage to you isn't helping me very much.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why are you playing Revenge of the Ravens, just to buy yourself time?
Yeah, that's literally it. It's just like, if you can just keep your opponent from getting too many big things, this can shut down their attacks and give you an extra 3 or 4 turns. And then that can be enough to mill them out. Especially in multiples, it gets very, very strong. It's like your Edgewall Innkeeper, for example, just can't do any damage at all. Obviously, it wouldn't get through the apprentices right now anyway, but...
Oh, I completely forgot to include my red-green friendly fellow. Well, that would be more fun.
Oh, yes.
I have a few of those. I could have actually made that more of a thing.
Yeah, he's a great fun card to play with. I think my first draft of Veldrain, I had a deck splashing him. It was almost entirely non-creatures, and he just absolutely went off.
Alright, let's get cat spelled, yo.
Now, Peter, that's very rude of you, because you did not say please.
Well, fortunately, you got me a swamp, but you also cost me a questing beast along the way.
Yeah. Alright, and now we just start getting obnoxious.
Yep, that is pretty obnoxious. Alright, well...
Fortunately, green is actually best suited for beating those, because you can just make, like, 7 power creatures and it just doesn't matter as much anymore.
Let's...
Which is why I thought it was so important to counter the giant. I suppose counterspells are actually better than normal in this format, because you actually get to see the big things coming. You know what turn your opponent's going to tap out for something huge. So you know which turns to hold up your mana and which turns not to bother.
Yeah.
Most of the good big things are adventure creatures. It does make me wonder if it might be correct to avoid playing the adventure sometimes to avoid the counterspell equity. Alright, what do I want to do here?
I just remembered, of course, Gilda Goose is losing me 2 life every time I attack.
Yes.
Quality stuff!
And dealing no damage at all. It triggers both Revenge of Ravens. The Overwhelmed Apprentices actually do help a lot with the mana count, so I guess it's arguable that I don't need to cut a land. If I'm scrying a lot, I might just be putting all the excess land on the bottom of the deck anyway. For my actual build. This list. This is a deck that's better in best of 1 as well, though. Like in best of 3, you can just bring in all of your enchantment removal and blow up the Revenge of Ravens. Forever Young's pretty good as well. Pretty good. What have you got stacked up there? Curious Bear on top. Curious. Alright, it's going to be pretty hard to beat that.
Okay. Ollie.
Oh, I see. That's interesting. It was showing me an order before you'd actually that one. I guess it has to show them in a order if they're going to reveal to me.
Yes.
I didn't think it was bad to draw the Curious Pair, play the Adventure, and then play the Tree Folk. But I did think it was better to play the Questing Piece that turn.
There we go. We've actually done a tiny amount of damage.
Made an impact.
But 2 Revenge... God's sake.
3 Revenge of Ravens.
Well, I think I just lose because I can't punch for any meaningful amount of damage ever.
Well,
and or we
Tree
get into a
Folk,
situation where I'm going to just make
the
infinite
Beast.
food and then...
See, that's the thing, is that Goose allows you to not die to the Ravens. That's what stops you from attacking. It's not like, because you can never deal damage, you might be dealing damage 1 point at a time. That's fine. The problem is if you're dying to the damage from the Revenge of Ravens, which shouldn't be the case unless you sort of get overly aggressive with it. Did you just... Is the Beanstalk Giant in your hand? Oh, yeah, sorry. It got revealed to me when you drew it, and I couldn't figure out why. It's because it had previously been revealed to me from the Forever Young, hadn't it?
Yeah.
We were looking at some sort of bug. Revenge of Ravens is not a fun card for Limited.
This isn't a great example of what many of the games I've played so far in Eldraine have been like, which is horrible. Like, horribly obnoxious and just unfun to play, where you're like, I can chip away at you for 1 or maybe even 0. Like, every turn until something else happens, and it feels like something's significantly gone wrong. That's what's happening.
The problem is Magic the Gathering Arena. That isn't the case in store, or just in paper draft, and it's very much less. Sorry, so it's not the case in pod draft. So it's not the case when you play in paper. It's not the case when you play the format on Magic Online, where you draft with 7 other players and then play against those 7 other players. And it is significantly less an issue when you play on Magic Online, you draft with 8 players, and then play League, where you just go up against everybody like we do on Arena. The issue is Arena. The problem is that it's twofold. 1, 7/8 of the decks drafted don't get played, which means that issue 2, that the bots will consistently undervalue a particular deck, and therefore that deck comes around a lot more often, is far more significant, because the decks like this, the Revenge of Ravens deck, should be getting washed out by the 7 other decks that were drafted in that pod that are being played in that league. Even if like the last couple of rounds were mirrors of this matchup, that wouldn't really matter. The problem is that those other 7 decks are not getting played.
It does. The thing is, like, because I love stuff like this. This should totally be my kind of drafting room. Like, I love like coming up with like weird sort of like mashed together versions of decks. But in this case, I'm not going to.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Normally, I'm the guy who loves the grindy, dirtily draft formats where you're just sitting there drawing cards and blocking forever. But I think the problem is that the things that enable it are kind of obnoxious because they're so narrow and interactive. Like Revenge of Ravens is just garbage when you're playing against a mill deck, for example. And it's unbeatable when you're playing against a deck that's going wide with little creatures. So it feels like the results with the cards are not actually under your control. It's just variants of like, do I come up against a deck that has trump cards against me or not? And they tend to be really oppressive when you play up against those trump cards.
Yeah, it's some of the least fun I've had playing Magic has been playing with this set, which is it's so, I think I'm having trouble processing it because it's so against, like, I just killed myself, but I just didn't honestly care at that point. Like, I've never had that experience with Magic before, just been like, I hate it. Like, I'm hating playing these games where it's like, it seems to be designed to be as obnoxious as possible.
A huge part of it is the Arena version, though. Again, people are saying that they're enjoying it on Magic Online, and same thing with the previous set, Core 2020, which I actually kind of enjoyed on Arena. But again, even I could see that the conversations people were having about Core 2020 on Magic Gathering Online, it was an incredibly deep, interesting format that evolved over time, and it just wasn't that on Arena. Like, Arena Draft, because of the fact that it's bots fundamentally is a problem, they're not very good bots, and the fact that they're doing nothing to prevent, to offset the fact those decks are being pulled out of the format, it's just always going to be worse than every other type of draft, and it's worse than almost any other design for the problem they had at hand, which was how do we create a single player draft experience. There's endless better ways of doing that than what they've come up with, but it's always going to be a worse experience. There are going to be sets where it's more or less different to other draft formats like Magic Gathering Online. I think partly it's just because it's new. It will be sort of a few weeks later into the format. They'll have the bots intentionally kill the decks, which really cause the problems. You know, so cards like the enchantment we were just playing with that was really obnoxious, the bots will start overdrafting those fairly soon. It still won't be present in the level that it should be in the format, but it won't be sort of dominating the format and making it completely unplayable. But I think
I could definitely live with that.
Yeah, I think Throne of Eldraine is fundamentally a format that is especially punished by having AI bot draft. You know, the reality is, for me, I'm trying to build a Magic the Gathering Arena thing, and so I'm just trying to keep at that thread and be patient with it until we do get player draft. But for the average person who's just like, I just want to play some Magic for fun and I love draft, just play on Magic Online. You know, the fact is that for Throne of Eldraine, you will have a dramatically better experience than you will on Magic Arena.
I don't know, though. I would feel like I was throwing my money away if I was doing that, because a lot of the reason why I'm playing draft on here is because I want to get the cards to make decks to play with, because I'm looking forward to making the decks after playing the build any deck thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was going to do that on online, I'm basically throwing those cards away at that point, so I'm going to start doing that on online, and I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't think even if it was a better experience, I mean, it feels like the correct answer here is just not to play it until they fix it, and save my gold and save any gems until that point, but
like, keep in mind, it should only be a couple of weeks' time until that there is a different draft format available for gold. There should be ranked draft Core 20 or ranked draft War or something coming up in a couple of weeks alongside of this or instead of this. So yeah, I think if you're sort of saying, look, I want my collection to be growing on Arena versus elsewhere, which is what I'm doing as well, it might be it's better just to wait until either people are saying, okay, the bots have been adjusted in a way where Throne of Eldraine is a little bit more interesting now, or one of the other formats that you've played and you've got more enjoyment from, or just people have sort of said, yeah, no, this is still a really great format on Arena, comes along, and then you can invest your gold there. It's not a great place to be, you know, trying to get involved with Magic Gathering Arena, trying to, you know, build something there, and having to say, look, guys, actually, I don't think the most fun thing you can do is play the new set on it. And that shouldn't be the case. We should just, we never should have had AI draft as the solution to the problem. And we shouldn't still be waiting for player draft. I feel like the main reason we're waiting for player draft is because they think it will kill AI draft, and they want to try to keep it lumbering along, rather than say, actually, you know what? Let's see whether it survives against player draft, and if it doesn't, maybe we need to find a better answer to this question.
I mean, I'm certain they'll just put it in as a time-limited thing to start with. So if it turns out to be complete mess, that on the other side of things, that they can just be like, well, we're going to cut that early. I think they might try and split the difference and have it be player draft where you don't play with the players that you drafted against, so that you end up with some of what you get from a natural regular paper draft, which is sensible card pools, but you also don't have to play against that particular pod, which makes it a hell of a lot more flexible, that you only have to be around for, say, half an hour or something to do the draft rather than a whole evening.
But this is exactly what everyone is asking for. I mean, obviously some people just don't know, and they're saying, well, I've heard about this player draft thing, why don't we have it? But this is what Magic Online draft is. You can do either. You can do pod draft, or you can do league draft, where you draft with 8 people and you play whoever you go up against, just like you do here. I mean, that's what we have, is we have AI league draft. The only difference is that you'd have humans in the draft seats instead of bots. And League Draft is tremendously more popular on Magic Online, despite the fact that increasingly Magic Online is where the more hardcore drafts hang out. And yes, proper pod draft, where you and 8 people sit down for 4 hours, is a slightly better format. It is a little bit deeper, it's a little bit more interesting.
I do not feel like the trade-off is remotely worth it.
Yeah, basically everyone, even the most hardcore drafters play League Draft on Magic Online, so they have the mod already, and they know it's successful, and they know people like it. So it's a solved issue. They just have to implement it.
All right,
and they don't seem to have the will to do it at the moment.
I realized it was 1 a.m, and I was like, oh god, I think I've missed work. And I was like, wait, no, that was yesterday. So I'm okay in that regard, but I still don't want to be up until like 3 a.m. talking about Magic. As this has been a great discussion, I appreciate you also coming in and adding this extra thing onto the end of the stream, even if it made me just realize that I didn't want to draft Throne of Eladrin for the time being. I looked on the Magic Arena Reddit, that's why I kind of went a bit quiet as I was looking through it, and it's like someone else has made a comment with 7-1 in an Eladrin draft with this disgusting and obnoxious pile of shameless, loathsome baloney.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically the deck that she built.
Yeah.
And it's like... And also, yeah, and the standard players are waiting for the Fields of the Dead to be banned. Because apparently they've like rushed out a ban list because people were reckoning that the reason is that that everyone had submitted decks for a particular tournament which all had Fields of the Dead in it or something like that. And that's why
it was the same day that the deck submissions came in for the Mythic Championship was the day that they said, we're moving forward the banned and restricted announcement to just before that event.
I heard it was just after because they didn't think they could like mess with what people had already submitted, but they weren't going to let it go further.
I think the announcement is before it, but then the actual effective date is usually like a week after the banned and restricted announcement. So I think the announcement's
right.
ahead, and then it comes into effect afterwards. But I think the thinking is that the problem with Field of the Dead really is just more from a coverage perspective. First of all, just having endless mirror matches is not very exciting. They're not very interactive decks. They go incredibly wide and have a huge amount of stuff on the board. So they're just not the most interesting thing ever to watch. So I think they want to be able to have that disclaimer if they have those long, boring matches where the commentators can say, this has been banned, it won't be like this next time.
I feel like the solution here, if that is what's going to happen, is either... I mean, obviously you can't really delay the tournament because that's, logistically that's impossible. I think that maybe you just have to bite the bullet and be like, no, we're banning it now, come up with new decks. Like, because you do, like, I mean, I don't know if that's worth the sacrifice of being like, we made a horrible mistake and you as players will suffer for it. But everyone will suffer in the same way, so it's kind of fair in that we don't want to have a rubbish tournament.
I don't know that they won't do that, just because it's not illegal in standard yet. Doesn't mean they can't say, at this tournament, we will be playing standard as of this date. They have done that sort of stuff before. And they do like, occasionally, and the pros love to have, like genuinely, I'm not being sarcastic about it, to have tournaments where it's an unknown metagame, where the pros are like, okay, guys, this is the first time anyone's ever playing this metagame. You have 1 month to figure it out.
I would definitely take that. I'm glad that that's happened before, because I would 100% think it's a better thing to do than to just be like, this is going to be a rubbish tournament, everybody knows it. And it's like, come on, you can't. That's just not an acceptable outcome if you're trying to run a business based on, or at least partially based on people wanting to watch tournaments, as opposed to this is like an anti-advert for Magic where the commentators are just like, oh god.
I don't know that it will be like that all the way through. I think realistically, it probably won't be more than 60% off the field anyway.
That's a lot.
But there will be some games that are a little bit long and tedious and less fun from broadcast perspective. So I think as a whole, the majority of matches will be fun and interesting. There will be more that aren't than they would ideally like there to be. I mean, we don't even know if this is what's going to get banned, if anything. It may be for some bizarre reason they've moved it up and they're not even banning anything, or they're making some ban in some other format. It's not 100% set in stone until it happens. But it certainly does look like they're going to ban probably Field of the Dead itself. It might be that they ban something else that enables it. It seems like the most sensible thing is to ban Field of the Dead, because there's only really one card in that deck that doesn't have some value outside of it, apart from the Field of the Dead. And it might be the list can limp on without it.
Piers, you're stuck me into a conversation again! I need to go. I need to just...
It's very late.
It's very late. Thank you for joining me, Piers. You can find Piers' channel at twitch.tv/Piers8. Piers, when do you stream for all the -3 people who are watching right now?
Well, I will be back here 7 till 9 UK time. That's UTC +1 tomorrow, drafting Field of the Dead. And then Thursday, drafting Third Beldrain. Same time.
Gosh. When did... Like, of all the things I expected to be, like, people complaining about, I didn't expect to actually be part of the whole conversation, to be like, this sucks. But I guess I am now. So, yeah, I hope this changes sometime soon. Anyway, I'm going to go to sleep. Good night, Piers. Have a good one. And good luck with your draft tomorrow. I might be around for it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Alright, toodle bit.